From there, you must use this wall to do a catback and land on this box. Stick your landing, okay? Make sense for everyone? Great.
Wait, so, you cat...
Yep, so you gotta land, grab the wall, jump, and land on the box. Cool?
Yep.
Perfect.
Are they allowed to take time on the wall?
If they do, if they take time on the wall, it's 3 points instead of 5 points. Great.
If they flash
Flash is
it at
6. But they can only flash with momentum.
So there's 0, 3, 5, 6.
Exactly. Cool. Behind us here is the next challenge. You must start in this crevice. Feet on the wall, back on the other wall. Okay? From here, without touching the top of the wall, you must get into this window ledge. Cool? No touching the ground, no touching the top of the wall. Okay?
How far into the cave do you need to be?
You have to start straddling the wall, the hole here. Okay? Any more questions on that? Cool. Follow me. All right, guys. Your next challenge is going to start sitting on this ledge. Let's let all you guys come over here. Sitting on this ledge, you must dash down to this box, do a roll, and land your feet on the box.
Nice.
You can't, yeah. Extra step is no count. Cool? Any questions on that, guys? Got it? Judges got that one? Cool. Dash, pre, roll, pre.
For the Podium challenge, how do you differentiate between 3 or 5?
5 or 0.
5. So
Yeah.
there's going to be certain ones that will just be yes or no.
Yeah. Did you hear that, guys? On the climbing challenge, there's no need for momentum. It's either you make it or you don't. 6 for flash, 5 for completion, or 0. Make sense?
For the roll pre, how do they have to land it? Just 2 feet on the box?
Yeah, they don't have to land. Heels off is not required,
Yeah.
but if they land and step,
Yeah.
that doesn't count.
All right,
Cool.
cool.
Next challenge. You're starting against the wall, okay? Taking off of this box, you need to land on this wall. From there, you can use this rail, but not the side rails. Jump to this rail, and then jump to here. Precision. Okay? Any questions on that one?
How many feet?
It doesn't matter as long as they maintain momentum. Cool? Huh? They have to jump from the tan box to there and continue momentum. Number of steps doesn't matter as long as they keep moving.
And it can be pliable.
Yes. Next challenge. Oh, you guys can see me? Cool. I'm going to be right there. Touching the wall. You must take 1 step off of this post and land up here. From there, carrying momentum, you need to come up here and get to this and jump straight to this box. From there, without stopping, you must lazy vault and pre on this box. Cool?
Is this the time where you get unlimited attempts?
You'll have as many attempts as you want. You have 40 minutes to complete all the challenges. Lastly, can I get everyone to stand over here? Thanks. For this challenge, you must start in a cat hang here. Cool? You're going to jump, grab this rail, you must swing, and land here. From there, catch this rail.
Land feet there?
You feet, yeah. It can be 1 foot, it can be 2, whatever works, okay? Catching this rail, you must swing and cat like this wall. Bounce onto this box. You must then catch this rail. You can use either one, and end in a stick on here. Okay? Does anyone have any questions on that? Yes. There are 8 challenges.
If we get like 3 points one of the times, then can we like do it again?
Absolutely. If you earn partial points, you can always go back and try to get more points. Okay? Do you guys hear that? If you make partial points, if you complete without momentum and get 3 points, you can keep trying to get the full 5 points. Cool?
Just because you got one set of points instead.
Great. Are there any more questions? Okay. Judges, will you guys move and find your locations?
It's on strides.
Damn it.
One, the athlete is in view, and the athlete's watching them, and the judges also make sure that the athlete waits to go because we don't have a lot of space in here, so there's a lot of crisscross. But essentially, the judges determine the amount of points for the athletes.
Yeah, so that's, I think, a really underrated part of this format of competition is it's tough for the judges to be able to see everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Kent and Micah, I think, have done a really good job of outlining challenges all the way around the gym. So it looks like it kind of goes into U-shape. They're pretty specific about where those starting places were.
Yeah.
I think that's, again, with the youth competitors, they're going to be a little bit nervous. It's good to keep them in a specific starting place and ending place to avoid collisions.
Yeah.
They only have 40 minutes.
Yes. That time runs out very fast.
It'll go
Because
quickly.
The first 10, you're really breaking down, like, okay, which of these challenges should I go for? Which one should I go for first? What's going to take more energy? What's going to take less energy?
Yeah.
I think of all the competition formats, this kind of skill is my favorite.
Absolutely. I think it's the most reminiscent of actual training.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think it's going to be interesting to see how we have, I believe we have 4 or even 5 competitors from Missoula. So this is their home gym.
Okay.
We'll see if they have a little bit of home field advantage. I've probably done some of these challenges before,
Yes.
but and almost our first
Ooh, very
completion
close.
there.
As Kent mentioned earlier, he mentioned a flash. And so if anybody doesn't know, a flash is when you are able to do a challenge first try and, full to completion and you hadn't done it before. And so a flash will get you 1 extra point on any of these challenges.
Yep, and in case you missed it, so it's 6 points total if you're able to flash the challenge, getting it first try, no loss of momentum. 5 points total if you complete it without losing momentum on any other attempt. So whether you get it on your second attempt or your 4th attempt, 5 points. And there's that tough one. I think controlling the momentum from that roll is going to be a lot harder than they think. It's scary, too, that sit dash over the little gap. And it's a lot of the competitors, I think, are going to be tempted to overshoot.
Yeah.
Right? A nice pop there.
And, ooh, close.
This is actually, I think, really similar to one of the challenges in the women's skill for the adults last year, which I think they had to do the polecat from the blue wall and then pop into the Lachey 180 in precision, the corner, if I'm not mistaken. So it's kind of like reverse. They started on the blue wall and then they precisioned the corner rail. But obviously, if you're taller, the gap's going to be a little bit shorter, but the swing is going to be significantly harder. So some of our taller, older competitors like Skeet might be tough for him to pull that one off easily.
Right. Oh, man.
And it seems like everybody's kind of working together one at a time on these problems.
Yeah.
That's nice to see.
Okay, here we go.
Oh,
Kong's
somebody's
up.
working the Kong up challenge in
very
the back.
close on that Kong attempt. That's a blind Kong. Like, you're not able to see the landing until you're really over the vault. And so that's definitely something to consider in the movement.
Up Skeet in the back, I think just... almost completed the lazy vault one. We've got Christine Dietrich over there judging. I don't think he was quite
Yeah.
able to do it without losing momentum, but here he goes again with the pull tack.
He's up.
Oh, man.
So close,
And
Skeet.
there's a lot of these 90-degree direction changes that are super, super tough. Not very straightforward. Oh, looks like somebody just completed the Polecat to Lachey challenge. Skeet did not quite get that one. Little foot shuffle.
Ooh. It's a slippery tic-tac right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and these are square rails, but it doesn't make things too much easier on a square rail, to be honest. Like your foot placement can be a bit less precise, but a lot of times you have to really work with the funkier angle because it's square. I don't know if she's going to count that one. Oh, it looks like she will.
Yeah, looks like he got it. That was
I think that was a little bit less smooth, the transition, in some of his previous attempts. But he just threw himself at that
True.
5 times in about 60 seconds.
Let's go to Ronin 2. I think Hans is over there getting ready for this Kong challenge.
This one's really another weird 90-degree direction change. A hurdle,
Ooh.
up into a Kong, straight into Kong pre. And I think a lot of the athletes thought it was going to stop there. And when Kent kind of revealed, nope, you got to go into this little corner cat back pre, it's going to be funky to connect all of those.
Yeah.
Now they're just feeling out the footsteps.
Okay.
How do you think you would hurdle? I mean, to be fair, if you're 6'10", that's not much of a hurdle.
But I'd have to get really low on that Kong.
That's true.
That's what the
Yeah.
challenge would be for me. The yeah, definitely. I'd probably do like a hurdle ghost step.
Oh, nice. And we've got a completion of the
Ah,
Polecat
very nice.
challenge right next to awesome stuff over there.
Yeah, one thing you're gonna see throughout this 40 minutes is how the energy of the gym is going to rise very high, because even though it's a competition, one, everybody's gonna be cheering each other along, but but also everyone viewing is going to be very, very committed and very attached to these athletes completing, and you're just gonna hear a lot of cheers, and it's just one of my favorite things about this format.
Absolutely. Up and Kong up. Will he get the Kong pre? Not quite. Almost over there. It's really, really tough to carry momentum. So I think that for me, I'd probably end up doing almost like a hurdle stride so that you can really accelerate on that first Kong. And let's see if we can get another completion. Oh,
so
man.
close. Max, you do a lot of laches. What's something you think they could do to get more power off of such like a short entry to a lache?
Yeah,
like
that one looks tough. And nice. He did not link that smoothly, but that's a completion. So that would be 3 points, I believe. And he can obviously go back and try it without stopping for the full 5. As far as that lache, it's really small. It's really about ripping kind of off your arm. So you got to really throw the bar behind you. I think that's tough for a lot of our younger competitors because they haven't developed the upper body strength yet. And I'm actually really impressed with the challenge selection. I think Kent and Mike have done a great job of picking challenges that'll help encourage the competitors to work on those physical skills.
Right.
I really like that chimney traverse over in the corner. I don't think anybody's started working on it yet.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's
But you see
tried
that too
one
with the
just yet.
Kong. I mean, when you don't have momentum on that kind of a Kong free, you really need to pull.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one more attempt over here in the corner. Oh,
To your point
not
about pushing
quite.
the athletes, I think it's one of my favorite parts of a competition, is that, even though you might not be able to succeed or accomplish the challenge you wanted to, it really could put you in a good headspace of knowing what you need to work on and where your weaknesses are. And for me personally, that's always led to a good amount of motivation.
Ooh, there we go.
Oh,
that's
great
it.
job, Hans. That was a fantastic
Nice.
run.
And you saw Hans take a couple of extra steps in there, and that's totally allowed. The key point here is you can't break your momentum. So what I really like that he did there is he Konged straight up to kind of like a stride out on that first little lip. So over the rail, you see some of the competitors going straight like that over the lip into the Kong, and that's going to be really, really tough. Hans kind of added an extra step in there and then did a 2-step 180. There you go. You see the same thing with that extra step. And then he did a 2-step 180 around the corner to kind of give himself a little bit more breathing room.
Yes.
I think it was really, really strategic. Oh, that's going to be, figuring out that momentum is going to be really tough. Skeet's over here in the corner with that lache pre-challenge. So that one is funky. You have to start in a cat leap, kick back into that lache pre to the corner. You've got like a little 4-inch lip that they're going to be landing on. And then from there, You're popping around the corner, lâché catting the blue wall, and then down and into a corner lâché, finishing up on that little gray box that is right over by Tim Champion's feet right now. So you can see Kent's kind of where they're finishing up. It's a big circular run. It's a lot of complicated transitions. That one I think is going to be the hardest for a lot of our, especially shorter athletes.
Let's go to the wide
complete.
shot here. Another athlete's going for this lâché challenge.
He's bounced it a couple times.
Oh, he's
Not
right
quite.
there.
So that's a perfect example of where being tall, maybe on the traverse, that'll help you a lot. But here he's got the most legs to kind of swing through.
Yeah, when you're tall and you have to do lâchés, a lot of it is you're pulling your knees up into your chest.
Yeah.
And it affects the way you swing for sure.
Yep. And so Skeet, not quite, slipped out on that corner lâché. You can see how many awkward transitions there are there. And I'm going to be interested in seeing if any of our athletes use both hands on the vertical or if they both go around the corner. And it looks like, I think that was Hans that just completed another challenge.
Oh, very nice.
The lazy vault challenge over by Christine.
Yeah, it's definitely a
I think he's going to
competitor
give
look out
another
for.
try in a second, though. I'm really wondering if any of our judges, a lot of them are really accomplished athletes, wondering if they're providing any beta for some of the competitors. Yeah, there's a perfect example of where that sit dash challenge gets really tough. You don't have to land on the edge, according to Kent, but to give yourself room to roll without falling off, you pretty much have to make it right on the edge. And it looks like he's going for something that's a little bit more palatable. I'm surprised none of them have tried the traverse yet. It seems like...
I really want to see someone give that one a shot.
Yeah, it seems like if you look at it, it's a good opportunity for a flash if you just plan your route a little bit.
I think it's one of those challenges that definitely
Let's go
seems
to
more
Ronin
intimidating
1
up front.
really quick. We've got Skeets looking like he's trying this one again, starting in the cat. Let's see if he can make it.
Okay, he's up.
Nice little stride approach. And here you can see just these funky transitions. To do that without stopping and then make that final lâché around the corner is going to be very, very difficult.
Gotta get those legs up. It's gonna be a challenge right there.
Man, and then almost a completion with that Kong to Kong pre cat back attempt over in the back of our screen there. I love the determination here. He's been working on this 180 and getting a little bit closer. There we go.
All right.
I was going to say, every attempt was a little bit closer. He really threw the bar on that one. Got himself out there.
It's always nice seeing someone get something after working on it for a while.
Absolutely. So that'll be 5 points there. Was not a flash, but he completed it without breaking momentum. Oh, that looks lovely. Oh, good bail there.
A little spill. It happens.
That was a nice parkour ukemi. Slipped out. Did not reach your post with his hands. I think one of my favorite things with youth competitions, seeing just the general level of athleticism and body awareness that these kids have developed. That's really impressive. Oh, almost. I forgot about that challenge over there.
Yeah, me as well.
And I think he did it as a stride on the side of the rail. I'm pretty sure at the beginning, Kent said you cannot use those side rails. So you have to kind of stride that top blue box and then either stride or plyo across the rails up into a big old box jump. And let's get Ronin 2, see if we can get a completion. We got one extra swing in there.
Too many swings on there. Yeah, you're only allowed to do one in back. So
looks like Skeet's shoe fell off. That'll happen on weird cats. Oh. So you can see that's, I think, a perfect example of where, upper body strength as you're developing as an athlete. I mean, I started parkour when I was 14. I think some of our competitors are in the kind of like 11 to 12-year-old, maybe even some of them might be even younger age group. And being able to push off of a Kong like that, really accelerate from your arms.
Absolutely.
It's really, really tough. As a coach, you see that a lot. It's where upper body strength becomes a limiting factor.
Yeah. You have to remember the early days of parkour. Not having enough upper body strength really limits your potential in a lot of challenges. So
Skeet's giving it another try on the wide. Let's see if he can make this transition. This is a good one. You can really see the distance of that corner. Almost.
Closer every time.
So you're basically doing a full 180-degree direction change around there. And again, you know, he's got his top hand on the corner.
Oh,
I'm
Ronan one,
really
here we go.
curious.
Oh, so close in that cat back. Yeah, Skeet's really going to have to think about that momentum, too, when he finally gets the challenge down.
Yeah. Oh, looks like somebody is looking at the traverse in the back of that. I want to give a shout out to our camera operators. They're doing a great job. I mean, this is one of the hardest formats to film. We talked about how hard it can be to judge, where you have to really pick your locations carefully. But to film it also, you're constantly switching between different angles. We'll see if they'll count that one. His foot did move out a little bit. I know Davis from Boston, he trains with people like Ernest Lubanya, who are big sticklers about technique.
No pun intended.
Full pun intended. Sticklers and technique, yeah.
Oh. Okay, someone's going. Oh, no. Oh, all right.
I think it's really impressive what Unparalleled has done with the program that they've created, where we have 5 competitors, again, from Missoula, and obviously it's their home gym.
Yes.
They might have a little bit of an advantage, but how impressive is it that a town the size of Missoula can turn out so many impressive parkour athletes?
Yeah.
And on their adult team, I mean, it's really, really phenomenal. It's also amazing that this gym has attracted so many people from out of town. I think this is the 4th year where Fool's Jam has really been a big national event.
Yeah.
And now it's an international event. I mean, we have a bunch of Canadian athletes from Calgary. We've got Tim Champion, who was last year's NAPC skill champion.
Representing Team Storm.
Representing Team Storm, visiting from England. It's really, really exciting to see that.
Yes.
It looks like Nate's given a little bit of advice over here on the polecat, how to kick into it. Up on Ronin 2, perfect timing. Let's see. Oh, man. That was really, really smooth. Just couldn't quite connect it. And I think if you turn to your right, doing your catbacks over there, you know, it looks like he likes to turn to his right, and you're going to be fighting your own momentum. That makes it even tougher. Same thing with Skeet over here. He's got to do that backwards pop.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
Oh, man.
Slippage.
Good bail there, getting that leg out from underneath him so he's not trapped. And I think this is part of what gives parkour potentially a bad name to some people, is they see a lot of these slams and fails, and they think that it's everyone represents a potential hazard. But what we're doing, you're practicing so many times, and so many of those times are not successful, that you really hone the skill of falling safely.
Yeah.
And you broaden kind of the range of acceptable outcome for something that is, you know, dangerous or potentially dangerous, and things that are not successes. Oh, the hand down. There we go.
Looks like another athlete has accomplished that catback challenge.
So we've seen a couple people do the catback. We've seen a couple people do the pole cat. And I know Skeet finished the pole tic-tac. Oh, here we go on Ronin 2. Another attempt. Not quite able to get traction on that wall. Looks like he's pulling with his body a little bit close.
Right one. And, close. Gotta get that leg up there. Yeah, Max, to your point about falling down, I think it's something that I love about parkour, is how we learn to fall. We learn to, you know, expect the unexpected, and, you know, it's one of those things where in everyday life, you know.
And
didn't quite get the stick.
Yeah.
I was saying, in everyday life, you never know when, like, there might be a patch of ice on the ground, you know, and a fall shouldn't be something that takes somebody out from us, you know.
Absolutely.
Gotta learn to fall. Learn to live, learn to fall.
And in the media, a lot of people have been making a big deal. Oh, will he stay?
There we go. Way to fight for that stick.
Good
That's
completion.
what I like to see there.
In the media, you know, there have been a couple articles recently about programs for the elderly where it's fall prevention through parkour training. And we don't see that a lot, emphasis on that with kids as much, but I think it's just as important. So here, he's pulling in, and I'm really curious. You can see pulling that chest into the wall.
Yeah.
With a 180 like that, you need to keep your chest away from the wall so that when you step, you can push in and get a little bit of traction. Otherwise, as soon as you step on that wall, you're sliding down it. Let's go to the wide, see if we can get another completion on the Lachey. Oh, man. Too much power.
Yeah, before he didn't have enough, and now he has too much. So it's finding that middle, right?
Yep. And another attempt right away.
Ooh.
All right, let's see if you can stay away from the wall a little bit better. Oh, much better on the
closer.
pole there.
Yeah.
That was really good. And that's one of the things that makes catbacks pretty scary to commit to is to get the power out of it, you can't really cheat and look. As soon as you cheat, you're going to start getting close to the wall, you're going to leak power. So you're almost blind until you've committed fully to the movement.
Right. Like, the more you try to safety it, the less you're going to be able to do it.
Absolutely. That's why I think you don't see as many athletes. Oh, that was beautiful.
It's a great Lachey.
Beautiful.
Ooh. Okay.
That's why I think you don't see as many athletes really comfortable with pole cat 180s, cat 180s, big ones to rails. And to me, it's what makes athletes like Tim Champion and Daryl Stingley so impressive is how they're able to seamlessly link these complicated movements. You can't even see them until you're almost there. There you had another foot slip. All right, a little bit too much power. That one's gonna be a little bit too much as well. You can see on the kick, there's just a lot of power there. It's actually, I was saying it's interesting that nobody's tried the traverse, but it's pretty strategic because that is one that'll take the least energy to flash at the end. So it's good that, maybe they are thinking about it as working on some of the harder challenges before they get fatigued.
True. Or maybe they're scared.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. All right. Another challenger going up for the Lachey.
And there we go. That's a little bit less.
Got to be
swing.
it right here.
That should be
And
it.
there's that stick. All right.
It's almost
fight
like
for it.
basketball players that can call the shot out of their hand. You can see right as soon as they get the kick. Oh,
Yes.
okay, that's a good amount of power.
Absolutely.
And you can feel it as well. The more experienced you get, before you've even done it, all right, that's the one.
Okay.
And we've got a competitor in the back that looks like they're lining up. Can we go to the crane, please? Thank you. Oh, and this one is really interesting. I love the intricacy of this challenge. This running pre, and then this one right here where you're doing that default. You're changing direction 3 different times.
Yeah.
Is not easy at all. Oh, and on Ronin 1, looks like we've got another attempt. Oh. And for those of you that don't know, I'm sure most of the people watching this are parkour athletes. When we land with one leg on top of something, that's called a crane landing. So it's a really, really good bail technique. Oh, over on Ronin 1 again. Looks like we've got our first attempt at the traverse.
Okay. Here we go.
Balance. And this is going to be the hard push.
To the ground.
So that's a great example of a challenge that as a coach I appreciate because you're getting them to work on that body awareness and upper body strength, but it's so fun and fascinating to try and solve those problems with your body. It's not just, sitting in a circle doing push-ups. I'm really happy that they threw that one in there.
Yes. All right.
And on the Ronin 2, we've got the pull tack.
Oh.
Skeet made that look so easy.
Yeah. Skeet is a tall kid.
He's tall, and I think that's also an example of, he's been training. There's another crane, almost. Skeet's been training with athletes like Sid Mohorovich and Chad and Mick and Sam Wood, all Missoula locals who are really, really competent at that kind of pull movement. They do a lot of cranes on thin rails. They do a lot of rail plyos and strides.
Yes.
That kind of shows not only in how their students are able to perform, but I think also in the fact that they chose a challenge like that for a youth competition. I mean, there's a lot of our adult competitors that I think would have trouble linking this challenge over here.
Yeah, I agree. You gain a lot when you train above your level with people, because it really pushes you in a way where you start. You might think your potential is somewhere, but it could be much higher, but you'll never know if you don't really push yourself. And I think training with people who kind of inspire you to push those boundaries is very helpful.
Absolutely. And good progression. Each time he's getting a little bit higher. Mm-hmm. I think we saw him doing this as well with the Lachey pre, where I think it took him 9 or 10 tries, but when he got it, it was perfect. And over on the crane, looks like we have someone
Hans is going
out.
for this long challenge here. And
it's long, but this is interesting because this is a little bit more of that was a brave decision. I like that he strode that first rail, which I think is going to be really nice because you need that momentum by the time you get to the second rail. If you try and do a tiny plyo there, it's going to really slow you down, unless you're very, very strong. let's go to Ronin 2 again. I would love to see if he can get it. Oh, nice crane.
So close.
It was a nice crane. And then finishing out the rest.
Yeah.
Here is this tiny little thief pre.
Okay, there you go. Break it down.
Not a lot of room to swing your legs around there, and that's one of those movements that looks simple, but again, that's a lot of core strength and coordination. You need to have some strong mobile hips to be doing that.
Oh,
Let's go
Ronin
to
one.
Ronin 1. Will he get it? Oh, best attempt yet, though.
Let's not get down the next one. Ooh. Feeling that.
And let's go back to 2 over here. Wiping the shoes. Let's see if that extra grip will help. Higher crane. Again, every time's a little bit better.
All right, I think Hans is about to go for his...
Hans is over on the crane angle, looking at this running precision plyo. I think Hans was trying to stride it. It looks like Seth over there is giving him some feedback as well.
It's really great seeing the judges really helping these athletes to try to break down these challenges.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think Davis is a good one to have at that spot. And Davis is our judge over there in the maroon sweatshirt. Davis is, I think, a 3-time now or potentially 2-time NAPC speed medalist. One of our, I think, the most consistent speed medalist from the United States.
That's
So
right.
he's consistently up there. He knows how to go fast. He's a very, very powerful athlete.
Ooh, running 1. Here he goes.
And
Oh!
man, just a little bit of a bounce back.
What do you think he needs to get that little bit of push on that? Just like a little bit of...
I think, again, he's done a much better job of keeping his chest away from that wall. And the more he keeps his chest away, the more when he steps, he'll be kicking himself with that horizontal momentum. So right now, he's got the height. He's not quite getting far enough from the distance to make it to the top of that box.
Okay. Oh, here goes Skeet again. Oh, and he's off the wall.
And that's going to be a funky challenge for anybody that, when you're doing laches, and the challenge Skeet was just working on, when you're doing laches, most people like to release one hand at a time. So I'm a righty. I like to release with my right hand first, and that is a total lefty challenge. There we go.
Oh, what a
So
satisfying
much support
sound.
from the crowd too. That's awesome.
Solid stick on that too.
That was really, really solid. Oh, that was such an interesting Bailey. Almost did like thief into gargoyle, which is a much harder movement pattern to do than just going straight into the thief. That was a really, really interesting progression. All right, we've got another attempt at the traverse over here. Up, and just like that, kicked off. So over here we're starting in a chimney position, and that's just a term that climbers use when you're basically climbing in a chimney, just like Santa Claus. This is going to be super tough. So if it were me, I'd probably go to hook my foot around my left foot. I'd try and hook around and get my right foot on that nub near the floor. And then once you're there, it's going to be really tough. You have to get almost into a cat leap on that windowsill and then step across. All right, let's see how Skeet's doing over here.
Okay.
And a little bit of a momentum break. This has been his bane, this swing.
Oh, man.
And so Skeet's kind of taking an interesting angle here. His feet making a really, really wide arc. I think that one, you might want to get your feet a teeny bit lower.
He's up. Oh, this is it.
Keeping his momentum. Oh, goodness. And Christine is there. See how he's doing.
Oh, and he's good. He's up. He's laughing. His hand slipped out on that lazy, so, that's where all of his weight was going, so he kind of fell right out. But luckily, he went, he didn't put his arms out, so he's okay.
Yeah. And I think that's what kind of he was working through when he was doing all those slow ones. Is it's a pretty narrow box up there. And he kept using his momentum, kept bringing him to the left, and there's no room for him to dive. So he's going from a really cramped starting position into that thief. It's not by choice, obviously. That's just where the momentum takes him.
Yeah.
And I would love to see Skeet just focusing on, yes, perfect. I want to see him just focus on this last part. So there, right there, I'm looking at that. That was a great swing.
Mm-hmm.
and he just doesn't have the distance to pull from there. So that's a perfect example, I think, for a little bit more strength as he gets older,
Yeah.
gets into his man strength. I think that'll make a huge difference.
The man strength.
The man strength.
Oh, he's up. He's up.
And
Oh, closer again.
so same thing. You're seeing he's bringing his feet really, really close to his hands, and I'm not sure if that's what he's comfortable with, or if that's just kind of like because of the cramped confines of the challenge. Yeah.
Oh man, it's tough too when that bar is like kind of head height.
Yeah.
'Cause you're really holding
Absolutely.
a lot off the ground there.
You need to get your feet almost parallel to your head. Like, that was a good attempt right there. Yeah, that was awesome. So you saw the path that he took right there with his feet. They were started super high. They came down and they swung back up. And Skeet's not getting his feet back up, which is why he's kind of having
you're
that
saying.
slip out.
Through the
So once the
same
feet
down.
come back up, it's kind of like an underbar or a traditional lâché.
Right.
That's going to bring your hips and everything else up to get higher on the precision.
Put some chalk on the bar.
Let's go back to Ronin 2. I want to see this next attempt. We've had a couple really, really close ones. Let's see if he can give himself a little bit more space on that lazy vault. Really, really good.
He's up. He goes
Yeah,
to sit.
there we go.
Oh, he gets to it. He didn't stick it.
So,
Oh,
no stick, but that was a much, much better attempt.
Yes.
You saw him get that second hand out of the way at the beginning. It's much less cramped, and a little bit of a pause there.
He's
that
not
was a
quite getting
really
that lazy down.
really interesting transition to the lazy. Also, he almost went straight like a dash vault, just feet out in front of him.
Yeah.
Whereas we've been seeing the other competitors who are attempting it, kind of precisioning into it, and then doing a little bit more of a dive lazy.
How much time do you say? 10 minutes left?
I think 10 minutes
Down to
left.
the last 10 minutes. That lazy is tough because it's almost, I would almost
Let's go
advise
back
using
to
both
running
hands
one.
to set.
Perfect. Yeah.
But it's a tough thing to wrap your brain around when you're not used to it.
Oh, that was Skeet's best first swing that I've seen.
Yeah, he's looking powerful right now.
Let's see if he can get this last
Pulling
one.
in and
Oh, man.
still landing right in front of it.
And that's also really, really tough if you're a righty. I think it lends itself a little bit better. Again, it really depends on
Right.
what your strong side is. I'm not sure if Skeet is a right-handed release or left-handed release, but if you're righty, you might be a little bit more comfortable whipping off that left hand because the right one's leaving first. The left one is pushing you off and kind of controlling at the end there.
Right.
I also think it's underappreciated how much grip strength is required to be comfortable with those corner lâchés, because you have all that momentum and your final point of contact are a couple fingers. Bad kick, and that was good. He just reset. Let's see here if we can get the sit dash on the edge. You have such a tiny space to land and then finish that roll. It's just up there thinking about it. Sit dash looks like a simple movement, but once you commit, you have no bail options until you get to the box, and that's a scary position to put yourself in. If you put yourself there and your shoulder's a little too far back, it's not going to be a fun bail. I think that's what he's working through over here right now.
Oh.
Let's see if we can go back to Ronin 2. Looks like we're getting another attempt. The last one was so close. He was able to transition that lazy vault. All the pieces are there. It's just getting that second hand down for the final push on the lazy pre.
All right. He goes.
Really, really good
Way to use
save
the hand
there.
Yes! All right. And what an attempt it was, too. Did not slow down at all. I actually
was
liked how he
so
used his
sweet.
hand to get up to set up for that Kong up right after the tack. That was
Absolutely.
smart.
There's a little bit of an undershoot there on the tack pre, but it worked out perfectly because he just caught it with his left hand,
Yeah.
transitioned straight into that monkey up.
That rubber band logic, where you
And you're
where you
seeing
pulling from.
Yeah, we're seeing the same thing. That's kind of a common. I wonder if this is just a Missoula thing. That might be a technique that Kent and Michael like to use. Is that thief pre and then kind of kicking that back leg into a gargoyle.
Ah.
I want to go to the wide. Let's
go
look
to
at a couple
crane.
more attempts at the boulder challenge. Looks like somebody's. Oh, can we get Pam back to that boulder challenge there on the wide?
Reverse challenge on the wall?
Yeah,
Yeah, the wide shot right
awesome. Thank you, wide. They're working through that last section.
there.
Oh man, looks like they're getting some good beta over there. And I think he was able to complete it from the chimney to that kind of corner pull, and I don't know if he was able to transition around that corner. That's going to be the hard part, is transitioning around that corner into the windowsill. Nice Kong up.
Oh, he's putting so much energy into it. It's just not quite there.
Nope. And you see that a lot with the shorter competitors. You have to take off closer. Sometimes when you're doing these Kong precisions, because it's higher for you, you need to get a little bit more pull. And I think he's kind of in between steps right now.
Yeah.
You know, he's tried to use 3, and then it's a little bit too much, and then 4 is not working. 2's definitely not working.
I think it's a common
good transition there, Skeet.
mental misconception that a Kong is all arms, but there's a lot of jump in a Kong vault.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I like to think of a Kong almost as just a running plyo or a gallop plyo, but the arms are really important, getting you that height that you need. And especially when you don't have momentum, you really need to pull from the arms. All right, let's go back to the wide. We've got that boulder problem in the corner there, just figuring it out. And we've got another Kong attempt. Oh, and that 4th step's really killing him there on the Kong.
Ooh.
If he can figure out how to just send it with 3 steps, that's going to definitely maintain the momentum a little bit better. I think that's what Davis is telling him right now. Hey, everybody. How are you doing? I guess it's a really good time now to take a break and talk about some of our sponsors before we go back to the youth for their final attempts. So, obviously, our first and biggest sponsor is CyberLink.
Yes.
That is the live streams courtesy of CyberLink, and they've done an amazing job with getting everything set up. I really want to give a shout out to the production team as well. So we've got Tony Swansea as the creative director. Production manager is Aspen Marino. So Aspen is a Marino, much like Micah. You can tell the relation, brother and sister. And the creative director, Dave Morgan. What they've done in this gym, including the Unparalleled team and the CyberLink team, has been awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm amazed at the production quality.
Yeah,
shout out to CyberLink.
Yes. It's really great seeing a caliber event like this in parkour. It's something that I really want to see more of in the future for sure.
Absolutely. Let's see if we can get back to the wide. It looks like we've got another Kong 3 attempt, and let's see. Nice. That was with 3 steps, and you saw him carry that momentum much better.
Yes.
All right, and on Ronin 2 over here, looks like we're working that corner swing again. Couple hefty bounce backs, but no one's been able to make that. And I don't know if anyone's been able to do the sit dash challenge either. That roll, I think, looks like it wouldn't be too tough, and then people have been really struggling with it. I don't know how I would do it, to be honest. Yeah, I think you have to end basically sitting.
Yeah. It's like maybe you can use that momentum of the legs coming over to kind of push out towards the block on the ground.
Well, and I think that's the hard part that the audience may not have heard, is that you can't fall off of the block there. So the block that you're rolling on, you have to just immediately compress. And you know what what might work is actually doing almost like you're going to do a loser, a standing inward front flip. You might need that, unless maybe they adjusted the challenge to be a roll to precision. I'm not sure. I thought it was roll and stay on the block. They might be working roll precision over there. Either way, it's awkward, just in different ways.
Well, yeah, I thought it was a precision down to the block in front of it.
I must have misheard.
I'm not sure, actually. I might have misheard as well.
It looks like he's really working the precision, so let's see how Skeet does.
Skeet on this,
another tall competitor. You can see the struggle there.
The height is against him on that one.
This struggle is real for some of our taller youth competitors on that 180. I want to see them go for that boulder challenge, though, because that traverse is going to be easier if you're taller. You're going to be able to step straight across into that windowsill instead of having to do multiple moves. So hopefully Skeet gives that one a try.
3 minutes left. Ooh, getting down to the wire here.
Yeah, so I don't know if we haven't seen really anybody attempt the running pre-plyo challenge except for Hans, I believe. And we've not seen too many people try the chimney to wedge traverse either, unless they all did it when we weren't paying attention, which I don't think has happened. Oh, that was a really nice Kong precision attempt. Did not quite make it.
Let's go, Max.
And got his coaches cheering him on, Mike and Kent. It must be hard to be a coach. and try and stay fair as the event
Yes.
organizer, knowing all of your students' weaknesses and strengths.
Right.
It's tough not to cater to that when you're setting these challenges, but I feel like they've done, again, a really great job of kind of maintaining the integrity of the competition, really, really diverse challenges.
Yeah, I agree for sure. Definitely a lot of challenges here that bring out different.
Yep, different aspects of parkour, the climbing strength aspect, the
different
sit
advantages
dash.
and different athletes.
Yeah, some of these awkward movements, and then I really like this Kong challenge.
Closer.
And that running pre-stride on the rail challenge in the back are a little bit more just pure strength linear, but still incredibly difficult. I think my favorite's got to be that pull tack challenge in the back. That one is really fun to watch and also so complex. Oh, and we've got, looks like, is that Hans in the back trying it to crane. So that's the closest we've seen anybody get to that challenge. It's a pretty big running pre up onto that blue box, and then you're going across the rails.
So it seems like he got the roll down to the precision, but now he's going to do it with full momentum.
Gotcha. And if you did not hear the way that the point system
Let's
is
do the
working
crane.
for the first round, if you flash a challenge without breaking momentum, you get 6 points. If you're able to complete the challenge at all without breaking
2.
momentum, you get 5. And if you complete the challenge but your momentum breaks, you get 3 points. Awesome. So it looks like we've got to go ahead on that, the roll challenge, but with a momentum break, I think. So that would be 3 points. If he's able to do it without breaking momentum, it'll be 5.
Yeah. 30 seconds left. Oh man. Let's go.
And
let's see. Ronin 2. Hans is gonna go for this running challenge here.
this is probably what a lot of people equate with pure parkour, just a really technical but powerful challenge, running from the back, striding on the bars, and up to an assisted crane. That was definitely the closest. See if you can get one more try. It's gonna need
Final
a lot
countdown
more
is
power.
on. The energy is high right now.
That was actually a better attempt.
And that is
And our time's
time.
up. Great
All right,
job
yeah,
to
let's
our
give it a
youth competitors.
Great job to all the competitors for sure. Let's give it a shout out for them.
Yeah, I think I was super impressed seeing how many of our youth competitors were able to work through those
Yeah.
challenges in all the different ways. And also, again, you know, when you see youth competitors that are breaking down challenges and
Yeah.
going through all of the steps to get it safely, and then working through some of those bail structures as well, that's really promising for their future as parkour athletes, because it's not just a run and huck it sport, right? You
Yes,
need to be able to break down all these techniques and proceed through them to do it safely. If you can't kind of find that middle ground, as an adult, it's going to be really, really tough. And you'll see that our adult competitors in the skill tomorrow doing the exact same thing. So I'll be curious to see where these guys are at. And I'd love to say 10 years, but honestly, the rate that youth parkour is going, it's probably more like 3 years.
Yeah. So
Awesome. So I think next up, we're going to be taking a short break, and then we've got our second round of skill, or the style round. Talk to you guys later.
Unparalleled movement. One of the greatest gyms in the country, if you ask me.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's, especially now that they've added something, this is actually a conversation that I had with Nate, who's one of the athletes here. Nothing that gets added at Unparalleled Movement is not used.
Yes.
And I think they do an amazing job. You go to gyms that kind of just clutter the entire gym with stuff.
Yeah.
Everything at Unparalleled has a purpose.
Very less is more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's so much open space, which I love. Like you can see in this shot right here, all this open space, and then every bar, every wall that's there just has so many movement opportunities that lead into and out of it. I love the little weird climbing features. That was one of the things that I really noticed that brought Unparalleled to my attention when I was traveling the country a couple years ago. It's just the way that Micah and Kent designed all the little cubbies in the wall, the different climbing features. You know, Micah has a bit of a climbing background, and I appreciate that so much. I think it just adds so many different opportunities, and we saw it with the bouldering challenge.
Absolutely.
It's a really, really great facility for building diversity as an athlete. And right now I know we've got some people up on the stage. Our crane operator is doing a great job up on the stage covering the trampoline, but I mean, they have trampoline. And obviously with athletes like Lincoln Powell and Nate Weston, they're killing the acrobatic game as well.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing Jackson, who's one of the athletes from Missoula. He's coming up, I don't know how old he is, 16, 17. Yeah. He's competing with the adults tomorrow.
Cool.
And
he should be,
I'm not
honestly.
sure if he made it through the qualifiers. I think he did. He did a great job in the qualifiers today.
Yeah.
And it's been awesome to see him develop and some of the other youth athletes develop through this program in this facility. You probably can see me looking around wildly. I just love this gym. I cannot take my eyes off of all the challenges that are around it.
There's just a lot going on. If you guys are just joining us, we recently just had our youth skill competition, and the judges right now are deliberating the scores to see what the order will be.
Yeah, so that first skill round is wrapping up, or it did wrap up, and now we're going to see who made it through into finals. So the finals round, and I'm sure Kent will explain this as well, but the finals round is kind of Sport Parkour League, NAPC style. The competitors have 5 total attempts for 3 challenges. And this round's going to be really interesting because we saw a couple of our strongest competitors take a bunch of attempts to work through things. So we'll see how they're doing. And we've got another quick little commercial break here. I'm enjoying them. I hope you are too.
Okay, which part? Overlook what?
I know that hometown video is an ad, but what a video.
Right?
For those of you who don't know, I'm sure it's very few people watching the live stream that don't know who Nate Weston is. Nate is from Vashon Island out in Washington.
Yep.
And now he lives in Missoula, Montana, part of the Unparalleled Pro team. And he has been killing it on the international competitive circuit. I mean, there's not a freestyle competition that he's not placed in the last 3 years.
Yep.
And he just came out, and as soon as he got into Missoula, filmed this amazing video. Such high quality production. Michael Grafe over there, killing it. And then I love seeing Oliver, who, if you've been in the scene long enough, you know he's trained parkour out at Parkour Visions in Seattle on the music over there. I know he's not training as much, but it's great to see his name.
Yeah, and him and Nate came up together, so it's really good seeing them work on a project together.
It's kind of like a Fool's Jam family reunion video there. That's awesome to see.
Yes.
So I'm hoping what we're going to have next is, looks like the judges are kind of getting into position, checking out the challenges so that they understand how that next round works. Again, it's that finals round. Everybody's got 5 attempts for 3 challenges. What we were talking about before the commercial is the difference between that first round and the finals round.
Yes.
And to me, I think the first round is really you're training. You know, you have 40 minutes to do as many of the challenges as you can. You can approach them in whatever way you want. You know, you can work through all of those prerequisites to make sure you're doing it safely. But for the final round, it's a little bit more kind of like that height training vibe.
Yeah.
You know, and I really appreciate that. I think that SPL, the guys at Origins and SPL did a great job coming up with that, because once you try it, that's an attempt. You can't, work through every piece of it. If you do that, you just tried it. That's an attempt. And when you're training at height, it's the same thing. You only have just a little bit of leeway to play around there.
Absolutely. It's really one of those formats where like the skill really shows. Like you're going to be tested very intensely on what you're able to do in a short amount of time.
Yeah, and you see some of the athletes that are amazing in that first round kind of don't do as great in the second round, and then some of the athletes that barely scraped by on the first round, you realize, that they barely scraped by because they were trying it, everything first try. So that's pretty awesome. Well, and we just got the results for the skill round, and I think that Kent and Micah might announce them. We'll let you guys know if they don't. But I'm excited to see who's moving on. I think our second round coming up is going to be really, really great. And while they're deliberating, you can take a quick breather to just talk about a couple more of our sponsors. I wanted to highlight some of the local sponsors this time around. We've got Rocky Mountain Rigging from Missoula. They provided all the staging and some financial support for the event. I know that Micah has done some rigging work in the past. He's been doing an awesome job, and the Rocky Mountain Rigging crew has been doing an awesome job getting everything set up. We've got new lighting, got a crazy stage built, some platforms. We've also got Sound Color, and they're from Livingston. And they donated a bunch of the equipment, so shout out to them. Really, again, just an amazing job with the production. And finally, Precipice Clothing, and that is Missoula's own Susie Bridges, who is
Susie Bridges,
absolute legend.
Love you, Susie.
we love you, and we're happy that Precipice is coming on to be one of the main sponsors of Fool's Jam. And I love the logo on the edge of something great. Yeah. I think that's really, really cool. I think that's how parkour feels and how Fool's Jam feels to a lot of people.
Yes.
And it's also nice because it's like we're not just on the edge. Like we're doing something great, and I think that Unparalleled is definitely doing something great with the competition this year, with the event. They've managed to add so much new stuff to the gym and to the format of the event, the workshops, all these new things, without it losing any of the vibe from previous years.
Yes.
That's so hard to do.
It's very hard to do. Yeah, a lot of times, if you add too much, you're taking away things at the same time, but they really know how to add things here without taking anything away.
Yeah, and not just the equipment, but just the overall experience. Micah and Kent care so much about parkour. I think it comes through in everything that they do. All the partnerships that they build.
Yes.
A couple more of those local partnerships. Yerba, Montana, so they've got some mate over on the side. I haven't had any yet because I already had my coffee from Black Coffee, which is just down the street.
Black Coffee.
Shout out to Black Coffee.
Shout out.
I love myself some specialty coffee. They're killing it with I had like nice oat cortado. Callum Powell make fun of me for that. And it was actually hilarious. He's on his Instagram posted about hipsters who order oat cappuccinos. I was like, it's getting a little bit too close to home.
Was that a Callum tip?
I was a Callum tip, yeah. I was a Callum tip. And we also got Back to the Mother Kombucha, who they've got some kombucha in the corner that I've been drinking constantly. And I'll tell you a little bit more about them in a second. We're going to cut to one more commercial for you right now.
Okay, another commercial break.
Power Director lets you realize your creative ideas, delivering professional-grade video editing and production for creators of all levels. Whether you're editing in 360 degrees or simply putting together holiday footage, Power Director comes packed with editing features and creative tools you need for precise video editing and creation without the steep learning curve. No matter how you capture video footage, Power Director is the shortcut to turning raw clips into impressive, engaging videos. Quickly turn all your footage into well-crafted videos with dynamic creative tools that make complex video creation as easy as drag and drop. Intuitive multicam editing tools give more experienced creators the control they need to synchronize and switch between footage from multiple cameras. Precision editing is what makes professional videos stand out from the crowd. Take greater control of your creative projects with the refinements we've made to our editing tools. Users of all levels have greater control when editing their videos and photos. You decide how granular you want to get when shooting, editing, and producing with powerful, customizable editing features that are only limited by your own imagination. The focus on express editing isn't just limited to our features. We've made some small tweaks under the hood that deliver huge performance boosts to you. Render and produce faster than ever before with better hardware decoding and the new True Velocity 8. Best Matched Profile makes producing high-quality videos a breeze by suggesting the best output format based on your source videos. For those on the cutting edge of video creation, new Power Director 365 subscriptions give you the flexibility and control to create videos that will leave a lasting impression on your viewers. As a Power Director 365 subscriber, you'll get access to a constantly growing collection of plugins and effects, including our unique AI style packs, plus unlimited access to high-quality background music tracks and sound clips. On top of this, your subscription also ensures you've always got the latest features, updates, and format support. Power Director 17. Easy editing and precision controls that push the limit of creative possibilities.
That was a commercial from CyberLink, who is a sponsor of this event, Fool's Jam Open 2019. I'm Brian Prince, here with Max Henry in beautiful Missoula,
A
Montana.
little break to set up our skill finals.
And we're going to go right
division.
to Ken Johns.
We have our 4 finals. Of Shore, Max, Skeet, and Hans. That's the order they're going to be running in. The way this finals is going to work is we have 3 challenges. Each athlete will have 5 attempts to finish as many of the challenges as they can. Do you guys understand all that? Cool. Are you guys ready to hear them? All right. You guys got it. Cool. Follow me. First challenge. Start wherever you want on the floor. Okay? You must. Running. Cat back. Precision. To running pre that box. Has to be a stick. Okay? Just like last round, if you complete it without momentum, if you lose or stop momentum, and you still complete the challenge, it's 3 points. Okay? If you flash it first try, 6 points. If you hit the challenge, how I've laid it out with momentum, 5 points. Got it? You have 5 tries for all 3. Okay? 5 tries total. Yes. Any questions on this challenge? Cool. Next challenge. Yes. Yep, has to be a pre. Or get over the wall.
Okay, so I can like cat.
No. You have to land. You can't land on the face. You have to land on the top.
Okay.
So you could cat back step vault, but you couldn't cat back cat. Okay. Next challenge. Starting right here, you must running pre the rail. From there, use this rail to catch this and lash a pre this box. From there, you must step off this. You can use this wall to kick off. You must lash a cat. That's the wall right here. Cool? No. Okay? You must land in the cat leap. If your feet hit the ground, does not count. Any questions on this one? Got it? Okay. Final challenge.
Oh no.
Starting, touching the wall. You're going to run, use this slant wall. You can step off this. You must land on top of this. And without using any other structures, you must land and stick on this rail. Okay? Tack stride. You can take as many steps on there as you want, as long as you carry momentum. Running pre. Stick. Cool? Are there any questions? Okay. Well, you're up, Shore. We go one at a time. We're going one at a time in reverse order of your finish. So Hans finished first, he's going last. Shore, Max, Skeet, Hans. Okay? You can take your time, you can check surfaces. If you do any of the movements, that counts as an attempt. You can use an attempt to practice. Like if you're like, you can come here, cat it, cool. But if you do this cat back, that's an attempt. Okay?
So you might want to think about which ones you could do and
Yes.
choose that challenge to spend your 5 turns on.
Find the one you think you have the most likelihood of getting. You can use chalk, okay?
Can we call the ambulance?
A lot of people were putting time into challenges that they couldn't complete. And in case anybody,
It's a waste of an attempt.
exactly, in case anybody just popped on, we have 5 overall attempts, 3 challenges. First up is Shore Cells. So Shore is a Missoula local. He comes here and he was finishing with the fewest points to qualify from the first round. And I think this is a good time to just give a shout out to everybody else that competed. So we had Riley Frazier, Blaze, Gapin, or Gapin. Sorry if I mispronounced your name, Blaze. Great job. We've got Peng Su, who is also from Missoula, Julian, and Daniel.
Okay.
And so one of the hard things about this format is that they're not allowed to actually attempt any piece of it. You can work it in isolation. You can kind of test the grip. You can run up to it. You saw that.
Ooh.
Oh, so that's going to be...
So was
I
that a second
believe
attempt?
that's going to be an attempt, yeah.
Yes.
And Ken just said there's no time limit on this round. What you might see with some of these younger competitors is they'll kind of rush through it. With the more experienced competitors, especially in our adult division who have used this format before and competed in SPL, you'll see them kind of walk through every aspect. So Shore's doing a great job right now, testing the grip, figuring out where exactly he needs to step to get his chest all the way up to that next ledge, and then kind of pacing out the distance, that final running precision.
Yes. It's tough. It's a good mixture of momentum as well as tech,
Yeah, I think this is a really classic,
Oh, not
really
quite
classic
high
kind
enough.
of power challenge with just a little bit of a twist. And again, what I like about this one is it's not a strong turning challenge. So most people that are right-handed like to turn to their left. This one you have to turn to your right. And if you are turning to your left, you're going to be on a little bit more of an awkward angle. So Shore is going to his right. I'm not sure if that is his strong side or his weak side. But either way, he's doing it the right way. No pun intended. You want to turn into that wall so that you have a little bit more leeway. If you kick off that left foot, you're turning. You don't want to get, booted off the top wall and take a weird bounce back to the side.
This is his 4th attempt.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, he got up there. Okay, so that
So
was his
now-
4th attempt. So this is going to be his 5th and final.
And it's going to be his final attempt, unless they didn't count. Oh, no, Kent just said it's his final attempt. So if Shore can kind of step vault through there
Yes.
and keep his momentum going, he's got a chance to get that last running pre. And the last running pre is not huge. It's relatively close. It's probably about 10 and a half feet with a little bit of a drop, but it's hard to stick.
All right, so, okay, here we go.
And Shore can take as much time as he wants. Looks like he's going for it. Nice step. Oh, he did
didn't
not
quite
quite get as much height on that one. Great job by Shore. I really enjoyed watching how he worked through that one.
For sure.
And I think that's a great sign for his kind of future as a competitive athlete and just his future in training. How he took a step back and kind of worked through after that second attempt. He went and was like, all right, let me make sure I know exactly what the grip is, how big the distances are, and didn't just keep throwing himself at it. And so good job, Shore. That showed a lot of maturity, I think.
Absolutely. So up next is Max Nordquist. So Max is really... Actually, I really liked watching Max in that first round because he really put in a lot of effort to clean up everything and make his attempts better. So
Absolutely. Max, when he was able to complete the challenges, the ones that he did complete were flawless on the final attempts. The one thing that could hurt him is that he does seem like an athlete that kind of likes to work through the steps. And so he did not check out any of these challenges in advance. I hope he takes a second to really feel it out. So that's
it's a
2
little
attempts
high.
right there.
let's see if he
And-
decides to stay with that one or go to another one.
There you go. Looks like now he's kind of taking a page out of Shore's book, figuring out the distance, the pacing, and none of them have went up on that box and looked at the running pre. So even if you get over that 180, you still have to stick that running pre. It's worth taking the time to get up on top of it, kind of visualize that last aspect. He's taking a different angle here.
Still not quite high enough on that.
It's a tough one. So it looks
It's
like
a high wall.
It looks like when
it's
you're
his
running.
body height,
Definitely. It's a tall wall, and it looks like when you're running down this corridor where Max is starting now, it's a little bit more of a direct angle. You might not get quite the grip. Oh, man. That's some excellent hip mobility on that crane.
Just hoping if he can get up there, he'll be able to go for that jump at the end, too.
Absolutely.
Oh, a little too much into that wall.
Yep.
Well, let's hear it from Max for sure.
And those were, I think, all of his attempts. It looks like he's taking his seat. Good job, Max. So you've seen two competitors, our first two competitors, kind of get thrown down by that first obstacle. It's a big Cat 180. All of these are a little bit more powerful than the first round challenges. So I think Skeet's got a good shot. Skeet and Hans look a little bit older, a little bit taller. I think that's going to help them a bunch. Skeet looks like he's lining up this running rail precision challenge. So it's running pre up to the rail. Then you have to kick into a tiny lache pre. And then finish with this lache to cat. Oh,
And he lost his shoe.
That's the second time I've seen him lose his shoe. Someone needs to teach him to double tie.
He needs to tie his shoes.
Double knot those bad boys, Skeet.
Or get smaller shoes.
Actually, I think Skeet was probably about Shore's age when I first came up to Montana. I think he was 11 or 12 when I met him. It's cool to see how he's developed as an athlete since then.
Oh no. His brain turned off. That happens sometimes.
If you weren't able to hear that, he just said, "I can't think."
Like Max was saying before, he has to turn right, but it's like mentally he thought, "Oh, I'll go left," and then realized soon that I couldn't do that.
And Kent's giving him a little bit of advice, telling him, hey, remember, you can go up and check out all of the individual pieces. You just can't try them. And so, we've seen the first two competitors kind of run through their attempts, just going for the challenges. And they did a good job of kind of learning about that first challenge, but we're not able to get through it. And I think Skeet here is going to check and see which of the challenges is easiest for him. He seems like really comfortable with bars. So I think he's trying the correct challenge. All right. And see if you can get the cat. Not quite. And so you do get 3 points for completing it, even if your momentum breaks. So if Skeet can do every aspect of the challenge, even if he's kind of taking a break in between, he'll get 3 points. And if he's able to do it without, breaking momentum, he gets 5. But so far, our previous two challengers, Shure and Max, were not able to get the challenge, not able to complete it.
Oh, here he goes. I think this is attempt number 4.
This is attempt number 4.
Ooh. Oh, not quite there.
Not quite. So some of our viewers might be a little confused because it seems like Skeet's having trouble with that tiny Lachey Prix. But it looks like for the small Lachey Prix, he has to release to the other side, potentially. It's also a bit awkward jumping into the Lachey with that extra height, controlling that. So that was 4 attempts. I'm hoping Skeet takes a little bit of a breather to think about his options. It seems like he's pretty close to that one. 3 points on this one seems doable. Here we go. Let's see if he can control this a little bit better. There we go. And he can get this kick.
Feeling good about this.
Oh, that was not quite enough momentum there. But he can still get it, yeah.
Come on, Skeet. Come on, Skeet.
Not quite. So, Brian, you brought up a good point. I forgot that the momentum break also counts. You can take multiple swings and still get points.
Yeah.
So last up, we've got Hans Hielsen. Hans Hielsen. And Hans is another Missoula local. He came first in the first round. He was working that big running pre at the end to box jump and got it to assisted crane a couple times. I'm curious to see which challenge he does because I think he completed almost all of them in the first round. Seems like he's pretty well-rounded, not a specialty athlete. If he's able to complete any of them, even with stopping, he'll get 3 points.
He has the essence of a mini Tim Champion.
Yeah, I could see that. It's quite the compliment, the essence of a champion.
Okay. He's feeling it out. Attempt number 2.
And again, I think a lot of people watching this might find this boring, but especially in the youth event, it's such a sign of maturity to take your time and actually figure out what you need to do to accomplish your challenge. Much better step, dash out,
and he nails it. Go Hans. That
No
was
momentum break.
fantastic. The energy in the gym right now is electric after
All
watching
right.
him do that.
That was 5 points for Hans. See, he's in first, and I'm pretty sure that means he just won. I'm curious to see if he'll take the
Will
three
he
other
take his other
attempts
three attempts? I mean, why
to work
not,
on
right?
one of the other challenges. He might as well.
Oh, man.
Do it for the bragging rights. I really would love to see him try that big running rail precision at the end, but it seems like he's ready to take a seat. He's down to relax, save some energy for the jam this weekend. The judges are deliberating. Since Hans came in first in the first round, and he was the only one to have points in the second round, he's going to be our champion
We
for
don't know
youth
that,
skill.
Who knows? I don't know how the math works, but just kidding.
Yeah. If you come in first in both rounds, odds are good. But I bet what the judges are figuring out are, the scores for the second round. I'm not sure if they're going to be giving partial credit for completing challenges or not. But again, our first round results. In first place we had Hans for the first round. In second place, Skeet, and in third place we had Max. So we'll see if those carry over to the second round.
Look at Hans. Just
Max and Shore both got to about the same spot on their challenge. Skeet made it a little bit further. He did not quite complete his, and then Hans completed his second attempt for a almost full credit, 5 points.
yeah.
There's large Hans.
It's interesting with
Tim Champion
skill
right
because
there.
I think a lot of times people are tempted to say like, oh, well, the taller you are, the bigger you are, the easier it is, and that's not always true. As we see here, Hans wasn't the tallest athlete, but he was able to pull it
Yeah.
out the most. I'm not saying that with any kind of personal influence. I'm not 6'10" or anything.
If you, for those of you who don't know, Brian, you can see right now, I have to be on like a nice, tall seat. This is what my seat actually looks like compared to Brian Prince. All right,
Things
they
are-
gave me like the
I wouldn't
pneumatic
I'm
seat.
a large human. All right,
All
moving
right,
on to the
seems like we're
skill
moving on.
podium,
Okay.
the youth skill podium.
So, I love that logo. I saw that and I thought that Fool's Jam logo there might have been actually done in post on a photo, but this Micah just really intensely painted that bad boy on there.
Very nice.
I know Micah and Ken have been up every night into the wee hours working to make sure that, not only the competition, but also that the live stream were ready. And again, thank you to our sponsors at CyberLink
Yes.
for getting this ready. What a setup. I'm amazed at the quality of the live stream. I mean, we have multiple cameras able to cover it. That's super awesome. And one more shout out, Practical Magic, for bringing all the cameras, the lights, and the production equipment. We would not have been able to do this without them. I'm happy to be here able to talk to you guys.
I'm happy to be here as well.
I love doing this. I get to hang out here with Brian and talk about
Yeah.
parkour. So
Fool's
I
Jam
know
Brian.
it seems like Kent's ready or being close to ready down on the ground. We've got all of our youth competitors almost there. Let's see if we can cut to Ronin 1. I love just seeing all of our athletes lined up. I don't know if they know who's up on the podium, but it's great to see them, collaborating on the challenges in the first round, working together.
All right, guys, we're going to announce podium for
Ken,
youth
just-
skill. First thing, thanks for being here. Thanks for doing this. I'm super excited, and I love that the energy that the community creates for events like these. So without further ado, in third place, Max Norquist. Killed it, dude. Nice job. In second place, Skeet Sharf. Nice job, dude. Boys. And in first place, Hans. Dude. Nice job, buddy. Yeah, nice job, guys. We're gonna move into youth style now, so you guys get like a little break. Cool?
How long of a break?
20.
From all of our youth skill competitors was those challenges that they set were not easy at all. And I was so impressed to see them tackling, pull 180s, pull cats, really intricate combinations. And I really, really hope that they're able to kind of take that and in a couple years compete as adults in SPL because it's such a similar format. Obviously, Kent and Mike are very close to Tom and Renee over in Vancouver. For those of you that don't know, SPL is the Sport Parkour League, and this is a big, big competition that happens every year here in North America.
Yes.
And, Fools Open, this is our first year doing it. This is our first time with the live stream. We appreciate everybody's patience as we're going through this. We appreciate the fact that you guys are tuning in because the more people that tune in, the more people that are curious about what's going on. Maybe you're watching your son compete. Maybe you're watching, your friends compete. Either way, if you're just hanging out, scrolling YouTube, and you found us, thank you so much for checking it out.
Go
We
ahead and
hope you're having a good
share
time.
that link.
Yeah, share that link.
Tell your grandma to share it. Post on your wall. Post on your friend's wall. Email it to your boss.
Yeah, I guess I don't know if there's like any new, Snapchat it, whatever I don't know what like the 9 and under age group.
TikTok this thing.
TikTok.
I don't know if you can do that on TikTok.
There we go.
That's an app.
But seriously,
Are we old yet?
yeah. Seriously though, the youth competitors super, super impressive. Again, congratulations to everybody. Hans, I'm sorry I mispronounced your name, but not only our top 4 and our top 3 who were just up on the podium, but everybody that competed. Super impressive seeing you guys work through those challenges. I cannot wait to see where you are in a couple years. It's really, really great.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think one thing that people really underestimate in these competitions is it's not only the skill of the athlete, but it's also the ability to stay cool under pressure.
Absolutely.
Like the pressure
yeah.
of the situation plays a huge role when you're in this room full of other people training and you only have X amount of minutes to complete this challenge that you've never done before. And then suddenly they're like, oh, wow, you know, and then the ability to make good decisions under that pressure.
Yeah.
It's part of the game, you know?
For sure. And I mean, that's something that gets reflected at a normal parkour jam, but also in your own training, in your own personal training. When you're trying hard challenges, there are consequences. And I think a lot of parkour athletes make a big deal out of parkour being safe and approachable, which it totally is. You know, so many of the variables are under your control. But when you're young, sometimes it's hard to kind of identify the right variables to figure out how to keep yourself safe. And that's where you see quality coaching come through. And whoever coaches the kids, and I know obviously it's Kent, Micah, and some of the other coaches at Unparalleled here, but I know Riley is from Coeur d'Alene, Blaze is from Spokane, and Daniel's from Calgary. I'm assuming he's with the Breathe crew. Great job to their coaches, and also really as a coach, the most important thing is having students that are passionate and willing to listen to you, because if your students aren't willing to listen, doesn't matter your level of expertise. So it's really, really cool to see not only, you know, the focus from the students who are able to put the attention into mastering these skills at such a young age, also the passion that the coaches have put in, the perseverance. And, you know, a lot of these kids probably will end up as coaches in a couple of years, whether it's part-time or full-time. But it's great to see.
Absolutely.
And it's great to see them breaking it down like that.
Absolutely.
Really impressive.
Especially watching them cheer each other on as well. The spirit of competition is high.
It's easy to underestimate that, I think, too. For some of us that got involved in parkour when we were a bit older, we didn't start training with competitions when we were 12.
Yep.
You know, I would not have been anywhere near the level of these kids. Even like 10 years ago,
I started when I was
couple
19.
years into my training, yeah. I think when I was 16, I probably wouldn't have been able to compete with some of these 12-year-olds. And that is just for skill, let alone style. So style is going to be up next, and we can see if we go to our wide, you can see some of the style competitors warming it up. And I think before we cut to style, they're going to have a chance to warm up. We're going to take a quick break.
Take a quick break.
Stripped down to my skin and my bones. I love huskies, but I feel like a wolf. In a pack, but I feel all alone. I'm scatterbrained, man. Better off for the clone. And say highs upon me with race eyes, doing weird shit. Like this one.
I'm happy with that.
Yeah, that's okay.
You don't want none of this.
Go. Yes, 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 yes. Get it. Yes, yes, go.
time in peace with some peace of mind. Sleeping in jeans, I'ma need a night. OD on the cheap advice. OC on the cheapest flight. Lately I've been on the move trying to get me something. I told her I've been running just to see the sight. And they're not my type, so we chill with the brother. It's ice all white, but it's not. Am I living life in a box? Tell if it's a crisis or not. I hate coming off too normal, but I can use a wife and a dog and a job and a white fence off where the white kids walk. Well, the life been long. Don't know what the days been. I spent a lot of nights in a blur. I bet it's been a few too many trying to make it. And I haven't yet. Yeah! We had to bet. I'm only here. You know. But if you don't like this music, then don't be listening to it, you know. I'm just a dude that you know, or something similar. If you don't keep it real, can you go somewhere but here? Cause you know we're only losing control. I say if you don't like this music, you don't be listening to it, you know. I'm just a dude that you know, or something similar. If you don't keep it real, can you go somewhere but here? Cause you know we're only losing control just for a minute. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah.
Full-time artist on tour, keep it real, no secret. I wanted to get home to my own Mona Lisa. What's the point of seeing Caesar if you lose touch with Jesus? There, I pledge my allegiance. I stumbled into greatness. Only logical conclusion is I fumble with the fakeness. Rumble, young man, rumble. Anything that doesn't kill you makes you stronger or more humble. Been digging through this tunnel, thinking why I'm patient. Never been afraid to holler out, my God's the greatest. Ain't gotta make sense, man, I used to make tents. If my life is a vacation, what am I chasing? You see friends come and go, but family is forever, especially in your lows. Not just blood. Ain't trying to keep up with the Joneses, cause the clones may end up becoming homeless. I ain't stuck. And my actions, they can show. And if they don't, then God forgive me for my woes. I need love, I need God, I need you, I need us. But
if you don't like this music, then don't be listening to it, you know. I'm just a dude that you know, or something similar. If you don't keep it real, can you go somewhere but here? Cause you know we're only losing control. I say if you don't like this music, you don't be listening to it, you know. I'm just a dude that you know, or something similar. If you don't keep it real, can you go somewhere but here? Cause you know we're only losing control just for a minute. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to our live stream. Thank you for tuning in with us. We're about to open up with round one of our style qualifiers. We had a great skill event, and I'm excited to see what's coming. We have Kent down on the floor. He's ready to walk us through, introduce us to the competitors.
All right, welcome back. That was a pretty fun skill competition. Now we're going to be moving on to our style finals. And tomorrow at 1 p.m., we are having our open division. So we're having the adults train, and they're throwing down some pretty awesome stuff. So make sure you tune in tomorrow, 1 p.m. to see what's happening. So Kent's going to explain what's happening for the style comp. We're excited to see how this goes.
Awesome. So for style semifinals, the way this will work is all the kids are going to get a 15-minute window to work out a line that they want to build. It's going to be a line with the most difficult skills that they can put together, and it's really focused on putting together a smooth, connected line, okay? So we're going to value having movement connected, stopping, and then just moving to another trick will show deductions in their points, okay? So for this first round, we have 2 rounds that we're going to do tonight. Each has a different area of the gym that we're going to be using, okay? For this first round, you have to start on top of this pillar, okay? From there, you're allowed to go. You can go in any direction, okay? Your boundaries for this round, this plane here, okay? This, obviously, don't want to step on everyone. Cool. All the way through here. We're not using this structure for this round. And here. Okay? Sound good? Does anyone have questions on the area or what we are doing right now? Yes. Yes, you may use the wall, don't go over it. Cool? Any other questions? Cool. You guys all have 15 minutes to work on your line. Go for it. This whole area, these mats, we need all of you guys to clear out. Thank you.
Essentially, they're given 15 minutes right now for practice. So Kent, what he did was he laid out the area of performance that they're able to use for their lines, and then now the kids are going to construct their lines, practice them, and try to get them as concise as possible for their runs.
Yeah, I think it's really nice and interesting that they've set pretty strict boundaries for the kids. So it's kind of like they've split the gym in half basically. You've got this kind of back area with the tall bars and some of these weird columns, the wall. Then the front area is a little bit more like low ledges. So it's going to be interesting to see how this affects their style.
Yes.
And we have the same lineup competing for youth style that was competing for youth skill. So that was the reason we took our little commercial break, besides letting you guys enjoy some of the Unparalleled team videos, to give them a little bit of a breather in between rounds. Even the boundless energy of youth needs a little break sometimes.
True. Yeah, the one thing I hope the athletes are considering is in a style parkour competition, it's still a parkour competition. So one thing to keep in mind is it shouldn't just be spammed tricks that you're walking between. You know, everything should be connected. Like the team trainings video we just watched, you know, you want to see lines like that are full of really great, unique movements, but also, you know, connected very well, executed very well, and everything should be flowing. And that's a big part of what the judges are going to be looking for in these lines.
Absolutely. And I think that knowing their coaches, knowing what they've kind of grown up seeing, I mean, Kent, one of the workshops that opened up Fool's Jam this week on Tuesday, I believe, was Kent's workshop on line building. And so, you know, Kent obviously is working with Micah, they're head coaches here, they're developing a lot of these students. So these kids should know how to build a line. Again, the ones that have been here before are going to have a slight advantage, but at the same time, the ones that are from out of town might not be at that much of a disadvantage. Unlike in skill, where kind of being able to move around in the space helps, sometimes not knowing the space too well can help you visualize some unique movement opportunities. So I'm curious to see if some of them will be able to come up with things that no one else has done, where, you know, some of the athletes that maybe are too comfortable with the space might just stick to the safe things that they've done a bunch of times. That could hurt them.
Yeah, true. It's always funny when new eyes put on an environment and they're seeing new things.
Absolutely.
So that could possibly happen too.
That's one of the things I love about this change that a lot of style competitions have been making lately, which is setting physical boundaries. And you see it in your own training. If you've been doing parkour for long enough, sometimes you'll go to an amazing spot and it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to force yourself to just pick a little bit of an area to work in, and then you start kind of building from there. And I think that's what this forces, and especially for youth athletes, it's really important. They don't have quite as much experience as some of the adult competitors, obviously. So it's really helpful for them to be secluded and sequestered into a little area. Over there, you see Max working on the pull tack. I'm curious actually to see if any of them incorporate some of the challenges from the skill section.
Yeah, I always like when limitations are given for a style competition, because I feel like that slight amount of limitation really breeds creativity. You know, it's easy to think that, oh, they can do whatever they want, they'll do the most creative thing, but that's not always what happens. You know?
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of trends in general parkour training that have kind of gone that way, and starting with that Parkour Imaginatively video all those years ago, and that kind of introduced the world to athletes like Andy Smyshenko, who is just, has made small spots such a thing that, that a lot of the Finnish and German kind of Scandinavian and European athletes have made it a really big deal. It's become almost like a meme in parkour.
Dinosaur here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's really cool to see some of the younger athletes picking up on it as well, and whether or not they're forced into it by the format. So it's nice. This is going to be, I think, a really good course for athletes that have a bigger trick set. I think we've got, you've got some drops. You've got drops onto the puzzle mats. You have this slant wall for wall tricks. You've got some of the higher bars. When they go over to the other area, it's going to be a little bit lower, so that might lend itself more to athletes with good connections, good vaults, good like flat ground acro. Whereas here, I think definitely some potential for bigger tricks. And I'm not sure what the skill set of these athletes are when it comes to style, but I'm excited to see what they come up with.
There's Julian putting his line together.
It's also fascinating to see who is kind of using their time to prep and who already has an idea of what they want to do and just relaxing.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, Peng Su's really trying to work something off that slant wall like that. It's really cool. Ooh.
And Peng Su is another Missoula local. Speaking of Missoula locals, let's give a quick shout out to some of the local businesses that have donated this week. So these are not our sponsors, but they have supported the event and the people here by donating either time or product. And some of the best ones that donated during the week: Starbucks, classic, right? Chipotle, even more classic if you're a parkour athlete. You know how clutch Chipotle can be. We've mentioned it before, black coffee. Honestly, for me, probably my favorite coffee in Missoula. I'm sorry, City Brew, I just had you also. You are amazing as well, and they've donated. I'm drinking it right now. City Brew is great too. Sweet Peaks donated almost 40 gallons of ice cream.
Ooh.
These kids are working off a lot of calories.
Yeah.
They're going to be getting it back in some ice cream.
That cornflake flavor.
Yeah, they
So
had
good.
a gingerbread and a cornflake. And I was telling Brian earlier, I picked the wrong time to go vegan when they wheel in 30 gallons of ice cream.
True. I'll eat
Taco
yours for you.
Taco Del Sol and Pita Pit also sponsored it. Again, really appreciate these local businesses going out of their way to provide some healthy, affordable meals for our athletes. We've got a lot of people in Missoula this week from all over the country, all over the world, that are looking for, lunch in between training sessions.
Oh, yeah.
They've been killing it. And finally, Enlighten Lab. And then local businesses that have donated during the competition: Yerba Montana, again, doing some awesome yerba mate. Back to the Mother Kombucha, who actually brought out a parkour pear flavor, which, how cool is that
Yeah.
we can go to a parkour jam now and there's literally a parkour flavored kombucha. That's also the most hipster thing I've ever heard, but I really appreciate it, and it was super delicious.
Take that, Callum.
And Enlighten Lab has also been donating during the competition. So thank you guys. It's really awesome to see a small city like Missoula get behind companies that are doing it the right way. And there's no question in my mind that Unparalleled is one of the best representatives in the U.S. for parkour, for the community, and
Agreed.
for the competitive scene, for coaching. The gym design, the coaching.
And style.
It's amazing. If you are watching, you're from Missoula, you're not sure you want to try parkour, you want to send your kid to a parkour class, feel confident that you're sending them to one of the best facilities in the world. Not only in North America, but I'm pretty confident after traveling a bunch of continents and countries that Unparalleled, to me, is one of the best communities, one of the best facilities in the world for parkour. So it's really awesome to see the local community of businesses getting behind them, supporting them. It's not easy to run an amazing parkour gym like this in Missoula, Montana, but they're doing a fantastic job with it. That's a really smooth line we're seeing getting worked on over here.
Yeah, that's Julian Nicholson. So, as a tall child.
Yeah, well,
He's only 14.
Wow. It's interesting because Julian, we saw him having a little bit of a tough time with some of the skills challenges because of his height. And now I think that might come in handy. Some of these drops for Julian are perfect size, whereas for some of our shorter athletes, it might be really, really hefty drops. So Julian might be able to take advantage of some of these higher walls more efficiently. Like you were saying earlier, Brian, sometimes height can play to your advantage, sometimes not so much.
Yeah, it all depends on how you use it. It's good to be aware of it and going, okay, well, I can't do the same thing as this person, so what can I do? That's how you use that difference.
Yeah, and sometimes you can get kind of credit for that creativity. That height can give you a little bit of an edge, and same thing with if you're a little bit of a shorter athlete, you can make use out of some obstacles that the taller ones might not be.
True.
I think that's one of the best things about parkour is no matter what your body type or your tendencies as an athlete, if you're super powerful, if you're an endurance athlete, you can always find a way to play to your strengths. Really, really smooth.
I'm excited to see how that line turns out.
Yeah, I'm excited to see
cleaned up a little bit, but it's going to
whole
happen.
thing.
I think one of the most anxious moments when setting up for a style comp is when you're in an area, you need to do something there, and you're watching everyone else put stuff together, but okay, well, I need to do something a little different.
Yeah.
But it's hard to look at other people doing stuff and not go that's cool, I want to do that.
Yeah, there's definitely a temptation to just train as well with whoever you're around.
Yeah.
And I think also it can be tempting to try and kind of build off of what other people are doing. I think with some of the more experienced competitors, you see them taking note of other people's lines and trying to use the same space but in a totally different way.
Yeah.
And that'll get them a little bit of credit for creativity. I'm not entirely sure how this style round is going to be judged. Generally, in these types of events, judges are kind of going off of how smooth the line is. So just like in the skill, you're going to lose points if you're stopping and starting a bunch. They're also going to judge difficulty, how clean you're landing, and how creatively you're using the space. And so that's not just the creative tricks, like are you able to add a funky twist in or something, but it's are you using aspects of the course that has been set that nobody else has used, or are using it in an interesting way. And I know that Kent and Micah are definitely athletes that appreciate novel use of a space. So I'm hoping that some of their students kind of think about it in the same way. That was a nice little transition there. Julian seems to be putting together a really, really nice line.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, a little wall back handspring over there. I think was that Peng Su?
Yeah, it's Peng Su right there with the red on his pants. That's Blaze right there, the tie-dye. Putting together some good transitions and some fun movements.
Yeah, it looks like Blaze is really, really comfortable with his vaults. And I think that this particular course might not lend itself as well to his style as the second course. So hopefully all athletes are able to move on to both courses. Oh, a nice little wall cheat gainer over there in the back.
You can see Max trying to get space to test his line.
Yeah.
Got about 8 or 9 people practicing in the same space. You gotta make sure you have time and space to practice your thing.
Absolutely. And it's good for them to learn at this age, because even when you go to, some of the big competitions, you go to Red Bull Art of Motion, NAPC, you do not have the time and space that you would like. So it's really nice to see them getting the experience here on a little bit of a smaller stage, especially since those bigger competitions don't offer youth divisions yet. This is a pretty hectic youth competition for them to be competing in. The level of skill is very high. They've got the lights and the cameras on them. It's going to be a really great experience for them moving forward.
Absolutely. Well, here goes Julian still putting together his line with that gainer in it. Now, I think in the actual comp, that mat's not going to be there. So
No.
they really need to be thinking about how that impact feels and how it's going to differ on that hard ground. And even, it might not be the hardest ground, still a bit padded, a little soft, but still much harder than the 8-inch resi mat. So.
Yeah. I like what Unparalleled has done with those puzzle mats, actually. They're nice. I know a couple other gyms, like Urban Ninja in Orlando, used them, and I find that they're easy to clean from a gym owner's perspective, which is a big deal. But they don't tear up as much as some gyms have rugs. They're not dusty like a cement floor. And they're easy to move around if you want to adjust run-ups, add cement in somewhere. It's a pretty nice pretty nice setup. I was not a fan of them until I came here. We've got about 15 or 30 seconds left for the athletes to practice, and we're going to be starting our first round of style. So the order for our first style round, first up we've got Skeet, second up Riley, then we have Blaze, Hans, Shore, Heng Su, and our final three are Julian, Daniel, and Max.
It's a lineup right there.
And it's interesting to see, you know, there's disadvantages and advantages to each place in the order. So we'll see kind of how it goes, and time just came up. I think we're going to be throwing it down to Kent and Micah potentially to see what's going on. And if not, it looks like they're getting ready. Again, first up is Skeet.
Yep.
So Skeet came in second in our skill round.
Skeet Sharp, a local Missoula or an Unparalleled movement favorite.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and Skeet has been training longer than a lot of these athletes, I believe. Some of our youth athletes have been training for only a couple of years.
It's always a really frustrating moment when you're wanting to get that one last run in, but time is up. Time is up.
Yeah. I think it's equally frustrating. It looks like they just got kicked off of their waiting spot. There's Kent, like you said, Brian. Kent's moving the mat out of the way. Some people watching might wonder why we don't use mats. It's all about recreating the outdoor experience and kind of letting these athletes develop in a way that'll translate to outdoor training. Parkour happens outside, while competitions, some of them are indoors, some of them are outdoors. Really what you want to prepare these athletes for are just the day-to-day training outside. And Skeet looks like he's ready. He's
You sure about that?
He's either ready or he's filming for his next hip-hop album.
There we go. And check out his SoundCloud. You know, he might have one. I have no idea.
It's possible. He's got the stylish hair.
So our judges are up top, and it looks like our judges are Seth Ruggieravi-Riapino from Swift
Very
in
impressive.
Cincinnati. Thank you.
I think that's the first time I've heard anyone pronounce his name correctly
I
first
had
try.
to say it when I was the NAPC host, and it never left. Nate Weston, Christine Dietrich, and Renee Dambley. So, and
Dombley.
Dombley. Ooh, thank you.
Yeah.
See, don't get them all.
Danger Dombley.
I'm just glad I didn't say Dietrich.
I think Vinny Fiacco might also be judging, or he's just giving massages.
Vinny's local loud guy. So.
All right, judges are ready. They're giving the thumbs up to Skeet.
All right, so here goes Skeet. So we're gonna go to Vinny, our megaphone.
Might have some honey.
No.
I think Vinny's gonna let us know when
Yes.
the judges are ready.
And again, Skeet is a local. He came in second in the skill. See how he does in the first round of style.
I don't see any.
Okay, here he
All
goes.
right, nice transition to a
Nice
gate.
push gainer.
Ooh.
Okay. He's
All
gonna call
right.
it there. All right.
Short but sweet.
Short but sweet. Short but sweet.
So he didn't use too much of the course, but the difficulty on that one was pretty high. And I'll be interested in seeing kind of what tricks the other athletes are throwing.
Yeah.
So I mean, cork off of height, pretty difficult. He landed it nicely, transitioned into that inward side, and that little gate or push gainer. It's very clean.
Mm-hmm. All right. Coming up next is Riley Frazier.
And Riley's from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, which is a short drive down I-90 from here. A couple other parkour athletes. Oh, 5.7 for Skeet. Thank you, Vinny.
5.7. Ooh.
Nice
Nice gainer.
save.
Riley's really using a lot of the court. Done.
Yeah.
He just calls it.
That was really smooth, very well connected. He did throw a wall flip in there and kind of over-rotated a little bit, but managed to use a lot of the course, and I think that the judges will appreciate the fact that he didn't just spam a couple of tricks, but really connected some more simple parkour movements, but in an interesting way. Riley with a score of 4.5. So Skeet had a score of 5.7. Riley's at a 4.5, and now we have Blaze. So Blaze is another Northwest athlete from Spokane.
Spokane.
And all the athletes, they have to start in the same spot. They can move around the course whatever way they want, but they're all supposed to be starting up on that top box.
All right, the judges give a thumbs up, and he's off. Ooh.
Some Kalen Chan flow right there.
Blaze he's not moving too fast, but his transitions are really solid, which is very good.
Blaze is really using the full amount of time.
And that's
Nice. And he
Alright.
ends it with that little Russian 360 roll. So he threw a couple of really kind of more complex ground movements in there. And I mentioned Kalen Chan, so Kalen is a really high-level athlete from Utah that's done well in previous competitions like Art of Motion, and he uses a lot of those ground movements to transition between his bigger tricks. I think we saw Blaze use them to kind of transition in between some vaults moving through the space. I appreciated there was a lot of little intricacies with the hand and foot work there.
Yeah.
And I hope the judges will be able to tell from up there. 4.6. So I think they did grade that intricacy. It was 0.1 higher than Riley, and they had very similar runs. They used the space pretty extensively. Blaze went a little bit longer, and I think his vaults is, again, just a little bit more intricacy, some hand and foot switches in there. Gave him that extra edge.
Yeah.
Now we've got Hans.
Hans, who won our
Nice
skill
stride.
top earlier. Ooh. Nice. That means you're the top.
And a big old chicaner pre. Wow.
Didn't quite stick it, but that was a bold move.
Man, you can tell from the audience's excitement that was not an easy transition.
No.
It looked
he
like
covered
he was,
some ground on that.
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to transition straight from the cheat gainer over into that little kind of like seated step vault side, but fell back, saved himself. That's a scary movement there. I think the judges are going to take into account the mental aspect of that. Physically, not any more difficult than doing it at the beginning of the run, but mentally much more challenging to do it up at the top. He probably will lose a couple of points for taking his time getting up there. I think that's kind of where the run might lose a bit. Wow, the judges definitely appreciated it. 7.5 for Hans. He's in the lead.
7.5. Soaring in the lead.
I think.
Hans is going to try to take home both medals in today's competition.
Yeah, so if you just tuned in, Hans did win our youth skill. Was the only youth skill competitor to complete a finals challenge. Now he's in the lead with a 7.5, almost 2 points higher than our second place competitor.
And he goes Shore.
Yep, this is Shore Cells. Nice. Moving very smoothly.
Yeah,
That was very, very smooth.
Shore sells a nice line. I'm sorry, I couldn't not do that.
That Shore, that was a nice line. Poor Shore probably gets a million puns. That was really smooth though. That actually reminded me a lot of some of the earlier lines in events like NAPC and Red Bull Art of Motion, where it focused on just maintaining that flow. Really impressive to see him be able to connect those movements. Like that was a very, very smooth default. Some other like nice simple flips at the end, but it was all very maturely planned. I think there's no kind of back and forth.
5.7.
5.7. That'll put Shore in a tie for second place
Up
with
next,
Skeet.
yeah, and up next is Peng Su. You can see he's super excited to get over there. It's shaking with anticipation.
And Peng Su looks like one of the youngest and kind of smallest competitors. We saw that hold him back a teeny bit in the skills. Just some of the stuff was really, really big for him. Should not hold him back as much in the style. He was doing some really good stuff.
Okay, here he's on.
Let's see how he links it together here.
Nice.
Nice side flip. And
Ooh, very cool.
Nice. Nails the combo
Okay.
he'd been working on in practice. Nice dive roll.
All right.
There
you go.
And that was a really nice time to call it
Yeah.
before he started spamming flat ground tricks like you'd mentioned. That's not really
Yes.
rewarded in this format. Really, really clean. You can tell he's comfortable with back handsprings. It was a really nice side flip to start off with. He fit a lot of movement into a small amount of time.
Absolutely.
He added, there were a couple little pauses, and maybe the route planning could have been a teeny bit more mature. But clearly not holding him back too much. Peng Su moves into second place with a score of 6.4. I think that flow and just the number of moves that he put in there really helped him out with that one.
I definitely really want to see some of these athletes utilize a little the descent down off that top like a little better.
Absolutely.
We're kind of just running down, but it's a good time to use some parkour movements like that. That was a great use of a step fault.
Nice. And
Ooh,
Julian had a
great
great
game.
little line planned. Nice.
Ooh, that was short and sweet
Short
by
and sweet.
Julian. Exactly what I was just saying. The way he utilized that step all the way down, great.
Yeah, it adds something. I think that, a good contrast to people that are just kind of like running down it. It's easy to just run, do a trick, run, do a trick.
Yeah.
And combining it, you just
Laying
have
on
to
the ground.
think. Basking
He's
in the
planking.
light of the Unparalleled logo.
Planking is
Good
so
job,
5 years
Julian.
ago.
I was really excited to see his run. It was short, but he connected it really nicely.
5.9.
5.9 will bring him into third place. That'll drop Skeet and Shore into fourth. We got two left, Daniel and then Max Nordquist. Nice little Gumby transition there. Oh, cart twist.
Interesting.
And a cast back.
A little over rotation.
Good save.
But he's up. He's calling it. Okay.
Again, these guys just competed in skill. So Daniel's out from Calgary, if I'm not mistaken. That was really, really nice. The cart twist, that's a tough move to throw on flat ground, and he used it in a really good way. So we were talking about how, those flat ground moves are not really rewarded, but when you use it as a transition, that can add a lot to your run. And 6.3 will put him just behind Peng Su. And that's tough. That was a really, really nice run, but I think he lost a little bit for those over rotations. Final competitor. Ooh, nice roll.
Ooh, nice use of a dash vault.
Really clean run from Max. I think that's going to do well.
Judges just nodding their head on that one. I think they're liking it.
Finished it with his hardest trick of the run, a cork. That's always a good sign. Save the best for last. And just a really, really smooth line, a nice roll. We saw Max kind of demonstrate a very well-rounded skill set in the skills section. And I think he put that to good use there. I also liked that dash vault through that little gap.
Me too, yeah.
I think that's kind of, people might not realize that's pretty scary. 6.9 will bump Max into second place.
All right.
Awesome. So first up, I'll give you our top three. Currently, we have Hans in first with a 7.5. Max is in second with a 6.9. And Peng Su is in third with a 6.4. Thank you guys for watching. That was a really exciting first round for youth.
It was.
I think what's so impressive is, again, we talked about, how parkour has developed with some of these young athletes. We saw it in the skill, in the style there. The fact that these guys in the youth division are linking movements that 10 or 12 years ago, in the adult divisions in parkour would have been considered pretty high level. Cast
That's such
back,
a good point.
throwing a
Yeah.
cork at the end of a line. Now we're like, oh, cool, it's an 11-year-old doing that.
Yes.
And the judges are like, 6.3. Didn't land it that clean. And these were, some of the best tricks in parkour 10 or 15 years ago. That's really amazing to see.
Absolutely. Yeah, when you put it that way, it's like, wow, we really have come far, a long way.
Come such a long way. Congratulations to all of our competitors. I also really liked how they all used their own individual styles.
Yes.
And I'm curious to see, so they're resetting the course right now. I'm curious to see if it opens up to the smaller ones as well, or just sticks on the long one.
Looks like we're gonna have a 10-minute break while we reset up the course, so they can set up for round 2 of the youth style division. If you just joined us, this is the youth style, the Missoula, Montana Fools Jam 2019 Open. And yeah,
Stick
I'm Brian
around
Prince.
for the commercial
This
break.
is Max Henry.
Also, they've been bumping some awesome commercials. Our sponsors have been great. CyberLink got some
CyberLink.
awesome products. And also, you'll probably get to see Nate Weston's hometown video and a bunch of the team training videos, which are always awesome. Enjoy it. We'll see you in 10 minutes.
Combine video to open up even more creative possibilities. Combining the award-winning Power Director and Photo Director offers the most complete, cost-effective video and photo editing solution for users of all levels. With round-trip editing support between both applications, you can work seamlessly to integrate photo editing into your video production to achieve amazing results. Power Director lets you realize your creative ideas, delivering professional-grade video editing and production for creators of all levels. Quickly turn all your footage into well-crafted videos with dynamic creative tools that make complex video creation as easy as drag and drop. Create remarkable video collages with ease by combining up to 7 clips in customizable templates complete with effects. Users of all levels have greater control when editing their videos and photos. You decide how granular you want to get with powerful editing features that are only limited by your own imagination. Photo Director features a wide range of easy-to-use, professional quality tools built specifically for turning your photos into stunning artworks, no matter how you shoot. We've simplified layer editing with express layer templates that contain all the components to instantly create creative, complex, multi-layer images. With content-aware editing, you're able to remove photo bombers from your travel shots for the perfect memories every time. Or maybe you want to get creative and copy an object to multiple places in your image for a unique composition. With Photo Director, you're not just limited to editing still photos. Go beyond what you thought was possible and capture razor-sharp images straight from videos. Edit and change the look and feel of your photos with creative one-click presets. Plus, transform photos with a wide array of designs specifically for portraits and landscapes. Power Director and Photo Director, the best value video and photo editing combination.
Stripped down to my skin and my bones. I love huskies, but I feel like a wolf. In a pack, but I feel all alone. I'm scatterbrained, man. Better off for the clone. And take highs upon me with race size, doing weird shit. Like this one.
Going from a really cramped starting position into that thief. That's not by choice, obviously. That's just where the momentum takes him.
Yeah.
And I would love to see Skeet just focusing on, yes, perfect. I want to see him just focus on this last part.
Oh.
So there, right there, I'm looking at that. That was a great swing. And he just doesn't have the distance to pull from there. So that's a perfect example, I think, of where a little bit more strength as he gets older.
Yeah.
Gets into his man strength. I think that'll make a huge difference.
The man strength.
Man strength.
Oh, he's up.
And
He's up.
Go. Yes, 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 yes.
everybody, and welcome back to our Fool's Jam Open
Welcome back.
2019. We're getting ready for the youth style finals. If you've been with us, we've gone through skill. We've gone through the first round of style and saw some awesome moves. Now we're going to throw it to Kent Johns, who will explain the course and the rules for our final round.
Back in place, just because they're going to throw two momentarily.
Okay, can I be here?
Yeah, you can do wherever.
Cool. Cool. I'll be here.
Absolutely.
We're here.
And it looks like Kent and Mike are getting ready over there.
We're live. Yeah,
Cool.
go.
Sweet. Welcome back, guys.
Curious to
We're going
see
to move on to the second round of the youth style. This time, we're going to be setting up this half of the gym for the run, and we're going to give them some practice time. So I'm going to explain to them now what we're going to have the boundaries are for this run. Okay? So, guys, for your second run, boundaries.
Put money on Chadwick?
Be as quiet as
This
possible.
block, imagine this goes all the way to the wall. Okay? You can use that rail. Cool? You may swing on it. You may do parkour on it. Cool? I'm still explaining it. I'll get there. This block to the wall keeps going this way. Okay? Everything this way is in play. Cool? Your run must start on top of this. Okay? Now, are there any questions? Yes. No. This
There's
line,
a wall here.
everything
part
that
of
is
the
in
gym.
front of me is in play.
And you
And
start
you
up
must
there.
start up there. Got it? Awesome. You have 15 minutes. Begin. Mats, you can use mats if you need to.
Right, so it looks like this time they're using the second half of the gym, and that is exactly what I was hoping would happen. Easiest way to split it up, right, is just use one half, use the other half, and I think it's really interesting that they're having all of them start on what basically is the tallest obstacle in the gym. For some of these competitors, it's pretty much double their body height, and I don't think any of them are going to be doing big tricks off of that, but it's going to be really interesting to see how they get down. And Brian, you were talking about in the first round how, you know, those little transitions in between the movements, like getting off of that first obstacle.
Yeah.
That's such a quick way to separate yourself from the crowd because everybody has to start in the same place. Everybody's got to figure out a way to get down. Can you figure out a way that's unique? I mean, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, wow, what a perfect place to start on your belly and do just like one of those forward rolls and then drop into a flyaway or something like that.
I remember talking to Renee Scavington, and when he tore his Achilles, he said how he would still train with his boot, but he would look at everything so differently because he would do a lot of movements close to the floor with 4 points or 3 points of contact. And so seeing like a little descent like this, it's always something I think about where it's like the athletes have a good opportunity to think a little differently in how they can quickly do some transitions, some Foskey-like transitions down instead of just running down or jumping down.
Yeah, Foskey's a good example of a Spanish parkour athlete who's able to use all the little features in a landscape to kind of improve his flow. And you might have heard Kent saying about the bar. They asked if it was Andy. He said, you can swing on it, you can do parkour on it. That's totally fine. I think it's really interesting to look at everything in the course that way. Everything in the course is fair game, so how can you use the entire setup to your benefit? And we've just been informed by Kent that the scores for the final are cumulative. So going into this round, unless I am mistaken, let's see where our score sheet was. We had in first place Hans with a 7.5. In second place we had Max Norquist with a 6.9. And in third place we had Peng Su with a 6.4. Behind them, in fourth was Daniel from Calgary. Tied for fifth, in fifth place was Julian Nicholson with a 5.9. And then we had two 5.7s, Skeet and Shore Cells, finishing with Blaze at 4.6 and Riley with a 4.5. So we have a big spread of scores, but again, you know, that first course lent itself to a certain style. And the second course lends itself to almost a different style. So we'll see how the competitors who maybe didn't score what they wanted to in the first round are able to fare in this second round. And they'll be going in reverse order. So Riley, who had our lowest score in the first round, will be going up first this time. I'm enjoying already seeing how they're practicing getting down. I didn't notice there's that big block there as well, so that's cool. And it looks like Skeet is thinking about doing some kind of flip pre off of it. We saw Hans do kind of a cheat gainer off of an obstacle similar to that in the first round. So you might try and do something similar. Honestly, I'd probably take that opportunity to not just flip the gap, because it's pretty obvious, but try and do something different.
Yeah.
That's nice Peng Su, the polecat from the first skill round. Curious to see again if they incorporate challenges in this new section from the first or second round of skill. I love this low setup. I think of the people I know that have designed gyms, the gym owners and gym designers have been so impressed with this little low setup, because at first you look at it, it doesn't seem like it has that much.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like the best use of space, but as you train here, you realize what an amazing use of space it is. I think it's just the perfect amount of open space in between and little walls and ledges of different heights. That was a meaty little bail there.
Meaty little bail. It's a small oof.
Yeah. That's nice. That's Blaze over there in the tie-dye. What I really liked seeing him do is he looks like he's working through every step of his line. And we saw, again, I mentioned there were a lot of intricacies in the vaults that he worked out in his first run. And over there, it's cool to see him practicing QM. That's something that you see athletes, again, Foskey, Daryl, Wavezilla, Stingley.
Yeah.
You see a lot of the athletes that are known for connecting moves together. They practice every aspect of it. They're not just assuming the transition will go well. They're really working through those transitions consciously.
Yes.
So it's cool to see Blaze at such a young age really taking that into consideration. I'm also curious to see how Daniel will do in this round. There's a little bit more opportunity for connecting flat ground tricks. The other one, maybe not so much in that first course. Here, there's some really creative ways that he can connect. He did, cart twist. He did some interesting Gumby variations and a couple of rolls. I'm curious to see if he can incorporate those in an interesting way and flow them together into his line for this round. We were talking about this earlier, Brian, but I think that crane shot was just a perfect example of what an awesome facility this is. Yeah. I mean, if you don't know, it's in this amazing building. I think that the way they've incorporated the natural infrastructure of the facility is awesome. Like, you've got these I-beams, they've drilled and bolted bars to the ceiling. It's one of the only gyms I know that's incorporated anything with the ceiling. They've got these great wooden beams sticking out of the ceiling. And next door is a brewery. Yes. So if you've been to Missoula, you understand how big of kind of like a brewing town it is. I think it's just such an awesome location for a gym facility, and they've really taken full advantage of it.
Yes.
Sometimes I forget how cool the space is compared to the classic, parkour, big old air hangar warehouse gym.
Yeah.
And this just has such a completely different vibe.
Yeah, definitely. It's just like, I don't know, it's a very parkour mindset. I think it's very obvious to tell if a gym is designed by parkour people or not. And it's unfortunate that so many of them out there are not. And, people think, I can just put boxes wherever and people will jump on them. It's like, yeah, for a little bit. But, if it's not designed with parkour truly in mind, the imagination runs dry really fast. And I feel like this gym is one great example of just imagination at work.
Absolutely. And the athletes that you'll be able to create in a simple space, they're not going to have the diversity of kind of ability and also the confidence that comes when you have a space that, like Unparalleled, is able to recreate real world consequences indoors.
Yep.
I mean, we're talking about these high platforms that, you know, for instance, Skeet is up on this high platform right now in the crane. You can really see the height of it. Some of these young athletes are starting off 10 feet off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have the opportunity to go even higher. I mean, the bars from the ceiling are 14, 15 feet off the ground. And we've seen the athletes growing up here that are using it to do descents off of the ceiling. That's really, really interesting. And for me, growing up in New York, you know, the spaces that I've been able to train in indoors have always been limited just by the fact that there's not many buildings that are affordable with crazy high ceilings. And that's definitely limited a lot of my coaching, my students. I'm not able to take them up high, you know, and you can't take them up high legally outside. It's not something that's easy to do. And it's really amazing to see a gym that has the opportunity, the infrastructure to build these kind of outdoor-esque situations into their setup, and they actually do it. That was really, really smooth. Nice job, Blaze. I like how you got down off of that. Looks like Shore might be setting up a little side pre over there.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like the athletes are wrapping up their runs. I really like watching Peng Su. If you've been training for a while, you might remember the Urban Ninja video with Zin Saruthanwuku. He was an old school martial artist. It was one of the first parkour videos I ever saw. But that style of just kind of like running and doing tricks and just like running around and having fun. It's Peng Su's style to me is like such a throwback to that. It's really, really cool.
That's awesome.
And before we get started, you can see down in the bottom right corner that this live stream is presented by CyberLink. If you've been keeping up with the live stream, watching some of the commercials, you'll see the CyberLink Director Suite 365 in action. It's really, really cool. I think that they've sponsored with this company who's, you know, bringing something that parkour athletes need. Like, you need to be able to edit videos if you want to be engaged on that social media end of the community. And I know that I've like looked into using it on my phone, and I was always like, oh man, I don't know. Now I'm definitely more curious. It looks really, really awesome, and they've been fantastic bringing the equipment, the sound, everything, the expertise in here running the live stream. And I know they're offering some exclusive opportunities for attendees of Fool's Jam, so definitely look into that if you're trying to get video editing software.
Definitely check out that software.
Thank you again to CyberLink for the live stream. And it looks like our competitors are ready for the final skill round. So again, up first, it should be Riley Frazier, and Riley's our athlete from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Not too far. I know Coeur d'Alene is where Lincoln Powell and Sam Wood are from as well. So definitely some crossover between the Coeur d'Alene community and the Missoula community. Actually, Chad, I think, is also from Coeur d'Alene.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
I
it's
did not know that.
beautiful. Have you ever been to Coeur d'Alene?
I've driven through it. I've not been there.
Got a lake. It's Missoula with a lake. It's really nice.
Yeah, it seems really nice.
The spots aren't quite as good though. I think that's why a lot of the people have come out here, is the spots in Missoula are a little bit better, but Coeur d'Alene, beautiful, beautiful city. Shout out to Idaho and Montana.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out where our judges are stationed for this round. I'm not sure if they're on the floor or somewhere else.
I think. Oh no. Yeah, I'm actually not sure either.
Oh, I see them. They're over in the corner. So they're over in the corner by the front desk. And again, finding the space for the judges to be able to see the entire course is not easy. One of the advantages of the layout of Unparalleled is that it's very open. They have not clustered it with too many things. And you can see with that pan shot from our crane operator, how many people are here hanging out and watching for a youth competition. It's getting late at night. It's awesome to see how many people have stuck around to support our competitors. Judges are over there on the far right top corner, and in that position they should have access to the entire half of the gym where this finals for style will be taking place. It's our same judges last time. We've got Christine Dietrich, Seth Ruji. I'm not going to try and pronounce it. His last name, Brian got it first try. I won't embarrass myself. And then Nate Weston, our local judge. In addition to Renee Dombley and Vinny Fiacco on the human megaphone, helping us know who's going and what the scores are. And I know I shouted out CyberLink before for sponsoring the live stream, but I also want to let our viewers know that CyberLink has helped provide us with some awesome awards for our youth division. So first place youth is actually going to receive a Razer Blade Stealth touchscreen Ultrabook with 8th generation Intel Core i7. I don't know what most of those words mean, but it sounds awesome. I have a normal book, and that does the job. I'm assuming an Ultrabook is a lot better, and is loaded with CyberLink Director Suite 365, which is their professional video editing software. Also want to say a quick thank you to Intel for providing the PC running the live stream, and finally to Practical Magic for providing our media production gear. All right, give it up for Riley Frazier. Again, Riley's from Coeur d'Alene. He had a 4.5 in the first round. Really liked how extensively he used the course in the first round. This second round, it's a little bit more dense, but there are opportunities to kind of explore some intricate runs. Let's see how he takes advantage of it. Nice. Awesome. So Riley throwing in a couple flips there in his first run. I think he only threw one wall flip. There he added in a standing back tuck off the ledge. And he did a good job of incorporating that into his run. It's hard to find a place to set up a standing back tuck. So our scores for this final round are cumulative. Riley again had a 4.5 in the first round. And let's see what he has in this second final round. Good job, Riley, using that vault style to really move through the space, smoothly connecting. I like that he ended by popping up on that top wall using the lip. That's not easy. It's a nice little intricate piece of footwork. Well, it looks like Blaze started maybe a little bit too early. Okay. All right, we saw Blaze working on a lot of those pieces during our break, our prep time, and he did a good job of connecting it. Only a couple stutter steps there. We'll see. I don't know if those will hurt him too much. It was a little bit of a shorter run also than his last one. I remember his last one, he really ran through the space. That one was a little bit shorter, but he added the nice little cartwheel into that alleyway at the end. It's pretty representative. So right now we're going to wait on Riley and Blaze's scores. Riley is sitting at a 4.5. Blaze at a 4.6. All right. Riley bumped up a whole point in that second round to the 5.5. And Blaze with a 5.2 there. So Riley's now standing with a solid 10, and Blaze is a 9.8. So Riley managed to pull past Blaze on that round. Skeet's going another big cork off of there. He really likes his corks. Oh. Clearing the gap into the judges. Very, very clean. Skeet threw some of the harder tricks in the first round, but had a very short run. Kind of stuttered his way through it. That one was a lot smoother. I don't think the judges are going to take points off, other than the initial hesitation they had when he was setting up that side flip, since they were a little bit in the way there. But again, cork, solid, clean A-twist, a nice side flip gap, and then a super clean step up side to end it. Skeet had a 5.7 in his first round. I think he's going to beat that. And by a whole point, Skeet has a 6.8. Now we've got Shore, who had tied with Skeet in the first round. Oh, that's a complicated little roll there. That's a narrow ledge. And he's prepping something. Nice side flip gap. He'll lose some points for the hesitation there. Oh, good save with that crane. Nice. And it may be hard for the viewer to appreciate it, but Shore really brought an interesting style and approach to that round. He had that very narrow roll, which is not easy to do up there. And then he kind of used the cubby space, which I didn't see anybody else working on in practice. Followed up by that dive roll over the obstacle. That was really clean. A little bit, again, of hesitation, but that was a nice run. 5.4. So that will drop him behind Skeet, but still a very solid run for Shore Cells. Nice. Oh, over rotation there. Nice. And that was Julian Nicholson, another Missoula local. And Julian had a very clean but very short run in the first round. He added a lot more in that second one. A couple over rotations, but I like the way that he used the backside of the course. You didn't see any of the athletes using that area. Obviously, we have some seating and some kombucha. And Julian, I think, gets rewarded for that. 6.0 is an increase from his score in his first round as the second highest score in this round. Smooth little descent from there. A nice little pop A-twist for Daniel. Again, he used a lot of those kind of Gumby floor transitions in his first run. Oh. And finishing with a nice little sliding underbar. I was hoping Daniel would be able to use some of those floor transitions creatively to connect some of his movements in this round, and he did use that Gumby really nicely to work into the small space, the lâché. I think he was thrown off a little bit by not quite making that lâché precision. But I really like the smooth way down. He had the nice Webster A-twist. And a little bit lower than his first round run, which I think is fair. A 5.9 on that one. Now up we have Peng Su, who is currently in third place. Nice pop front. Using that feature for his cat leap. Good save there, Peng Su. And he's calling it. Peng Su, again, is one of our younger competitors, and I think that showed a little bit in his line planning. A lot of times when people are new to competition or new to parkour competition, at least, they think that more is always going to get you more points. We saw in the first round, though, a lot of the better runs were short and sweet. There's not a ton of diversity there. Peng Su did a good job incorporating his skill set that he has into the course, but I think he's going to lose some points just for spamming the front flip. Very clean, though. I think it's a very good starting place for Peng Su as one of the younger competitors. And a 6.0, same as Julian Nicholson, not quite as good as his first round where Peng Su scored a 6.4. Now we've got Max Nordquist. Ooh, a quick transition there. Max had a very short but very sweet line in the first round. Good save. Oh, and just pulls around that running front at the end. And so, again, a shorter line, but I love the speed of Max's transitions there. That first default, I think quick, very efficient transitions are a sign of more experienced practitioner, not hesitating on the simple moves, but it just comes as second nature. You know. Oh, and with a score of 7.1, that'll put him in first place for this round. He was in second coming in, and bumps ahead of Skeet. And last up, we have Hans, who won our skill championship for youth as well. He's currently in first place. Nice gainer onto the gap. Little coffee grinder palm spin. Oh. All right. I'm curious to see how that goes. So, smooth line, but a lot of slips on that one. To his credit, all those moves were done in unusual places with pretty tight constraints. So a lot of the athletes you'll see are able to use their movements, their harder tricks in open spaces with a perfect setup. Yeah, I think that's very fair. 0.1 below Max, but the difficulty of the setup that he was using for those tricks, definitely the judges took into consideration. So the judges are going to confer. It is cumulative. So the points from the first round and the second round will be added together to determine the winner. Going into the second round, the finals round, we had Hans in first place with a 7.5. Hey there. Now I get to see you guys in person. Welcome back. We have Max in second place after the first round with a 6.9. And in third place, we had Peng Su with a 6.4. So Max and Hans had excellent runs in that second round. We really saw them utilize the space efficiently. Peng Su also utilized the space, lost a little bit of points in that second round. So we'll see if somebody can edge him out for third place. But it looks like Hans and Max are going to be fighting for first and second in this. And we'll see. Skeet, who had a 5.7 in the first round, had a 6.8, which was the third highest score in the second round. So he might have a chance to podium depending on how the averages work out. back. Our Style Finals Youth. And again, our Adult Open is going to be tomorrow. Our youth did an amazing job today. We had Hans Hilsen, who came in first place in the skill. And then we had Max and Skeet were other podiumists for the skill finals for youth. They're also up there for style, so it's interesting to see who's going to take home the crown. Will Hans be able to win both and sweep the skill and style? Not sure. It's great to see the gym so crowded. Fool's Jam has been around for about 5 years, but it's only really picked up recently, and it's awesome to see the support again from the local community. If you've been tuning into the broadcast, you know I've been shouting out all the local businesses that have donated this week. I'll shout them out again a little bit, but right now we are ready for the podium announcement.
Do you want them over here?
What?
You want them?
I just need a cue. Am I good? Cool. All right, guys, we're going to announce the podium for youth style.
Competitors go up towards Kent.
First thing, thanks to everyone for being here.
Everyone stop talking and look at Ken.
Thanks to everyone for being here. Super stoked to watch all the youth guys today. That was super fun. I'm really proud of where they're all going and the future they have in the sport. And I think that events like this can really help propel them to have a really good future. And so I'm excited to keep doing this with so many cool athletes. Tomorrow, we have open division skill and open division style at 1 p.m. So make sure you guys are here to check that out because it's going to go down. Cool? Sweet. All right. In third place, squeaking out fourth by 1/10 of a point, Skeet! So proud of you. In second place, Max Nordquist! Dude, killed it. So proud of you. And in first place, who I heard is winning a computer. Cool. Hans! Dude. All right, guys. That's it for today. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Here's how done. Hans getting first place in skill and style. Again, my name is Max Henry. We had Brian Prince here earlier. It's been a pleasure to have you guys on the live stream. I want to give one more shout out to CyberLink, who have brought this entire live stream together. I also want to thank Practical Magic, who supplied all the cameras, lights, and production equipment. Ovanova, the solar company, helped with the fundraising. And again, thank you guys and our youth competitors. Hope to see you tomorrow at the Adult Open, 1 p.m. Thank you very much.
Made it here.
Disturbing the peace with some peace of mind. Sleeping in jeans, I'ma need a night. OD on a cheap device. OC on the cheapest flight. Lately I've been on the move trying to get me something. I told her I've been running just to see the sight. Pretty life and they're not my type. So we chill with the brother if it's ice all white, but it's not. Am I living life in a box? Tell if it's a crisis or not. I hate coming off too normal, but I can use a wife and a dog and a job and a white fence off where the white kids walk. Well, the life been long. Don't know what the days been. I spent a lot of nights in a blur. I bet it's been a few too many trying to make it. And I haven't yet. Yeah! We had to bet. I'm only here. You know. But if you don't like this music, then don't be listening to it, you know. I'm just a dude that you know, or something similar. If you don't keep it real, can you go somewhere but here? Cause you know we're only losing control. I say if you don't like this music, you don't be listening to it, you know. I'm just a dude that you know, or something similar. If you don't keep it real, can you go somewhere but here? Cause you know we're only losing control just for a minute. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah.
Full-time artist on tour, keep it real, no secret. I wanted to get home to my own Mona Lisa. What's the point of seeing Caesar if you lose touch with Jesus? There I pledge my allegiance. I stumbled into greatness. Only logical conclusion is I fumble with the fakeness. Rumble, young man, rumble. Anything that doesn't kill you makes you stronger or more humble. Been digging through this tunnel, thinking why I'm patient. Never been afraid to holler out, my God's the greatest. Ain't gotta make sense, man, I used to make tents. If my life is a vacation, what am I chasing? You see friends come and go, but family is forever, especially in your lows. Not just blood. Ain't trying to keep up with the Joneses, cause the clones may end up becoming homeless. I ain't stuck. And my actions, they can show. And if they don't, then God forgive me for my woes. I need love, I need God, I need you, I need us. But
if you don't like this music, then don't be listening to it, you know. I'm just a dude that you know, or something similar. If you don't keep it real, can you go somewhere but here? Cause you know we're only losing control. I say if you don't like this music, you don't be listening to it, you know. I'm just a dude that you know, or something similar. If you don't keep it real, can you go somewhere but here? Cause you know we're only losing control just for a minute.